Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and I am so glad you can join us on such short notice to the mid-season baddie breakdown. If you don't know what this is the Rise Baddie League Season 9. I'm AJ0. I cast and flame people. I'm joined here tonight by 30 and Failed Destiny. They also cast and flame people. And Master Splinter, who just flames people. I don't know. I like to skip everyone likes to do that awkward thing like, hey, how are you doing tonight? And like we have this awkward exchange. Fuck that. Let's just skip that, guys. So what we're gonna do tonight, we're gonna start off with some really basic topics. We're gonna go over who our MVPs are at the mid-season, and then our biggest disappointments so far this season, which I imagine a few of you would be excited to hear. And then we've got some just more general storylines from the season we're gonna go over. So we're not gonna just do like an all-star team or anything. I think that's really basic. I am going to be doing a written form of my personal all-star mid-season team, and that'll be coming Monday, but we're not going to be tackling that tonight. We've got some other storylines we're going to focus on, and at some point soon here, I think you're going to see the list of discussion topics on the stream in our super high production Excel spreadsheet.
Boom.
Boom.
Boomity boom.
And I forgot to start a stopwatch. Oh my god, I'm garbage. I had this all planned out. I fucked up, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
But we're gonna go into our first topic, which is MVPs at mid-season. So all of us have picked the top 4 or 5 of who we think are leading MVPs at mid-season, and we're gonna figure out who has the stupidest ideas. It's probably Wes, because he doesn't cast the games.
Ouch.
No. You just have some dumb opinions, man. Like, but at least you're gonna be the one list that doesn't have yourself on it. So,
well, maybe.
I guess you guys want to go over the MVP votes because 30's got those up on the stream. So if you guys been watching all season, we started every week off. We've been doing game by game MVPs, Korea style, and we got our tally of who's received the most MVP votes through 5 games. And there's a maximum of 6 possible votes every game. So the 4 team captains that aren't involved in that game vote, and then, or is it just 5 votes per game?
Yeah, 5.
Okay, so I'm voting. I'm like the tiebreaker vote because I watch every game, and then the 4 team captains that aren't involved in that game get a vote. So there's 5 votes on every game. So that would mean a maximum possible of 25 MVP votes at mid-season. And if you look at the list over there on the right, we got Master Splinter topping it off at 13. That's really disappointing, man. You've gotten more than half the possible votes.
Yeah, dude.
This is like 5 years in, dude. You're like the 39-year-old safety that like your body should have broken down by now. You shouldn't still be able to play at this high level, and you're just casually the best player on the 5-0 team, man. Jesus Christ.
He's the Brett Favre before he quit the Packers. Good or bad?
I'll take it.
He did.
I love
Sword's
reaction that he got 3 MVP
journalist.
votes.
Swordandmace, 3 times as many votes
He's so
as
happy.
Cameron. That's 3. He's 3 times the MVP. 3 times as valuable as Cameron. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, the Camera having won. That's probably the biggest surprise of this list, right?
Well, we'll get into why he has only 1 later on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll just go through our MVP lists. I guess I'll start things off here. It's going to look pretty similar to that list over there on the right. But my first vote is going to be for Master Splinter. And I don't think I'm going to be the only person that's thinking that way.
Probably not.
In case you guys have missed the memo, he's on the 5-0 team, and he's clearly the best player. Like, Renai Circulation's having a pretty good season, like, one of the best mids in the league. But if you replaced Master Splinter with the 3rd best jungler in the league, I think this team would have a losing record.
What about doing the same thing with Blab, though?
I think they would be 4-1. They would have dropped a game somewhere, but they wouldn't have dropped.
So who's
multiple
the
games.
3rd best mid laner?
Oh jeez. Okay,
Who would we? So Tim and Blab.
Yeah, Thrifty and Blab are clearly the best 2 mids. After it's got
So then who's the next?
It's probably Evola.
Probably.
Oh yeah, dude, we'd still be 5-0.
Yeah, you guys might be 5-0 with Evelite. I don't know, dude. Evelite's a weird dude. I mean, you and Swordandmace had Evelite as your mid laner last one. You started 5-0, so maybe you still would be 5-0. Okay, is your bot lane this season better than your bot lane was last season?
No, I was on that team.
Not in lane phase. I would say in team fighting they are.
Well, we know you don't really care about lane phase, so I guess that kind of works.
Yeah, the only team that can go
Yeah,
0,
well, I
8,
mean, it's
0
nice
in 11
when-
minutes and still win.
Yeah.
Bottom lane.
I've been very. We're gonna go into some people on my team. I've been very impressed by the bot lane in team fights. Did not expect it whatsoever. Their lane phase is like trash. They're the worst bot lane in lane phase, but very surprised. They're very good in team fighting. At least I've been very happy with it. So.
But I think the game that most summarizes why you're the MVP at midseason to me, it was week 2 when you guys were playing Cameron's team. And let me paint the picture for anyone that doesn't remember. Week 1, Cameron's team wins without Camer, who was like our finals MVP of the last season. Just the young boy, he's got his Dick Suck squad cheering him on a Twitch chat. He's a beast. He starts like 9-0 at 13 minutes in that game as, I think it was Jin.
Yeah.
And Wes is just like a measly like 2-1 or some shit on Jarvan, and we're like going off about how Camer's team is never going to lose a game this season. It's going to be incredible. And then you just like were ramming your dick up Camer's ass that entire game. You were like, oh, Camer's flash is down? Hard engage on him 4 times in 5 minutes. And Camer would die every time. He just like he's never played against a real jungler before. And like just watching that game, I was like, well, Wes is still Wes. Great.
What's funny is when we saw him pick that, I haven't played Jarvan in a long fucking time, and I'm just like, this is like the perfect pick into this. So I just went for it. It totally worked out. So did not even plan to play Jarvan. Just was a good pick into that team comp that they picked, and a great pick into what we were running with, like the MF Ziggs and whatnot. But yeah, Camer's positioning, man.
We'll
Needs to improve that. That's why his team has only won 1 game.
We'll get to Camer. I feel like there's not a whole lot.
Two? They've won 2, right?
They've won 2, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like there's not a whole lot else we have to say on you. You're the best player on the best team. So, but that usually gets a lot of MVP votes. So my number 2 is lining up with SBL tradition, going to be Thrifty Senpai. This is probably more surprising to me than how good Wes is playing, because we knew Wes was going to take it seriously. I did not think Tim was going to take things very seriously this season. And even crazier, Tim's finally on a team with a better player than him. The Mighty Wolf is like, I think he's still Diamond 3. And like going in, we're like, wow, Tim's going to get to be like the co-star for the first time ever. This is crazy. But watching in the 5 games they played, the Mighty Wolf relies on Tim way more than Tim relies on the Mighty Wolf, which I did not see coming. Because it's not like Tim's been practicing a ton or anything. But Tim's going off like every week, man. Like, it's really nuts. Even in their losses, he's been super impressive. Like, just looking at
I did not expect him to be as good as he's been doing. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's fine.
There was a pause.
In the wins that Kickass has gotten, they're 3-2. He had a 9-1-7 Anivia, a 14-7-12 Twisted Fate, and a 6-5-8, or sorry, an 8-2-7 Orianna. Those were Tim's scorelines in those wins. And like every one of those games is Tim gets really big early, and that lets the Mighty Wolf kind of just make his way into team fights and then start putting out a ton of DPS because everyone's focusing on shutting down Thrifty.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. So I totally expected him. I knew he had the potential, and that's why I was hoping people would pay a little bit more for him. But I thought, he went for 650. That's a good area. I don't expect him to play much higher than a 650 type player. Well, he's been playing higher than that.
I do want to add that for all of the games that I've casted and watched afterwards, teams look to focus Thrifty, who went for 650, like you said. The Mighty Wolf went for 10, and he's always, oh yeah, who's their AD carry? Because we should shut them down next. And by the time they think about that, the team fight's usually over, and they've won the team fight. And I think in order for this next season, or next half of the season to change, people need to stop focusing on Thrifty so much, and maybe focus on shutting down the Mighty Wolf as well. But
So
that's a
what-
different idea. But I think that
So what we
Thrifty's
kind of
taking
do?
so much focus that his team can succeed.
It's a brilliant idea, actually. What you're gonna do is you don't pick a support, okay? You have your support. You have Revan Toad. I think that's on that team. Revan Toad.
No, Revan Toad is on Splinter's team.
He's on mine. He's
I'm
on
awful.
TSA.
You get Zwerbs to play second jungle, so you can gank
Oh my god.
Gank
mid
all-
lane and
gank all
bot
over the
lane
place.
at the same time, dude. It's a good idea. No, but speaking of junglers, that's another thing I've noticed, because I've casted a lot of Thrifty games this season, and he presses so fucking hard in mid lane. Like, we've talked about it a few times. He's always taking Ignite no matter what the matchup is, and he is always getting ganked. Like, holy shit, I don't think anyone in the league gets ganked more than Thrifty Senpai does, and he still goes off in all these games. Like, think of how much worse Scotchnaut and Mighty Wolf would be doing if they had to deal with just a normal amount of ganks. But they don't get a normal amount of ganks. I'm not even sure Scotchnaut's been ganked this season. Like, I would never gank Scotchnaut if I was playing Kick-Ass.
It's probably happened.
It probably happens. Maybe twice.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's Thrifty Senpai. Oh, and yeah, and he draws, like, 3 bans every week.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's, like, different bans. No one can agree on what the ban, except for the Zyra, I think, has been banned by everybody. And he's played 4
I
different
don't know
heroes
if
so
we
far.
did.
He's played 4 characters so far this season. The only thing he's played twice is Orianna.
Yeah, I think at this point, people
we don't
need to
have
start
the bits.
taking the perspective of, not to throw anything your way, Splinter, but he's good enough that banning him out doesn't work. You need to ban things you don't want to play against, and then ban other things. Because throwing a bunch of bans his way, he'll just say, okay, yeah, I won't play that. He's Diamond, guys. Like, he's not a one-trick.
Oh yeah, his champion pool is huge. So
Just
and we
ban the
did
things you don't wanna
put
play
3
against.
bans down on him, but the thing is, they already had 3 champions picked. It was, I believe, their jungler and him. Maybe we're still picking. So it's like, well, let's just put 2 more bans at Thrifty that we don't want to play against, which was like Anivia and like maybe something else. Cause fuck that egg, man. Seen why it's so shitty last Tuesday.
The battle against the egg.
Mm-hmm.
That exhaust.
That exhaust.
He exhausted the egg, dude. Can we throw a little more shade at that dude? Fucking exhausted the egg. Come the fuck on, man.
Yeah.
Who did they play against? One Trick
I
Brody?
really wanted him, man.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, whoever the fuck played support for One Trick Bronies last week. It was... Oh! Yeah, dude, that was their emergency sub,
Black
man.
Paladin.
Black Paladin. That guy had a rough welcome to the SBL. Let's just end it there.
Yeah.
I think that sums up everything you need to know about Thrifty Senpai.
Yeah.
He's still really good. This is the 9th split. Thrifty and West are still the best 2 players in the league. Life is suffering.
I know.
It's
It's like if Froggen remained good. That's the type of
Froggen did
state.
remain good though. Like it would be more like if we gave Master Splinter Keith McBreeze. Only we did that once. His name was Kragan, and that team didn't do very good. So,
Craig and Eagles keep it for me. Oh my god.
oh.
Something I'm curious about with Thrifty Senpai is because when he had, I think it was Milk on his team, he told Milk to do a lot, and he ganked mid a lot. So I'm curious if that's the same thing with TSM Bora Bora. At least the last few weeks, I've noticed that he has camps mid a decent amount, which is working out for him.
Well, it's probably smart because he's being ganked so much.
True. So the counter ganks, which you saw last week, he was there for the counter gank. It was a little late, but he was there because the egg saved Thrifty, and then they turned it around and got 2 kills every time.
All right. I think that actually sums up for Thrifty. So, 3rd on my list, I got Camer's teammates, Purple Pickle Pie. I can't believe I have Camer's teammate as the 3rd on my MVP list. That's really incredible. But
I am happy to see that you put him on the top, your top 4.
dude,
I'm in my top 4.
I am a gigantic
He's-
Purple Pickle Pie fan. From that last season, I played top lane where it was him and I, and then a gap between everyone else. Real recognize is real, dude. And I fucking tilt off the planet every time his team makes him play a fucking tank, which has only happened twice, thank God. But
Even when he played Shed, he was like 4-0.
He was pretty good.
4-1.
He was pretty good at Shed. His only bad game,
Yeah.
he played Maokai in week 2 when he lost to TSA. But like every other game, Purple's been nuts. Like in the 2 games they won, Purple had a 5-1-3 Fiora and a 6-1-14 Kled. And then he had a Jace game, 12-6-10, where he started like 8-0, and he was like almost 100-0ing Thrifty at max range. And then last week versus Coffee House, he had that Shen game where he started like 4-0. Like, Purple's been fucking nuts this season. He's been by far the best top laner, which is like really crazy because I didn't think he would be this much better than Mad Cow.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be on your list either. He ended up being on my list. I thought we would differ there, and I thought that was because I've been playing with him and seeing how well he's been doing. But yeah, completely agree that he's probably the best top laner. And after last season with Mad Cow, I don't think Purple got better, and I don't think Mad Cow got worse. I think we're just seeing them in their true light. So
yep.
Just
Mad Cow hasn't been playing too many offensive champions. He's playing. He had like. I gotta check the notes. What did he all play? Yeah, he had Darius week 1 where he went 6-3-10.
He's played a lot of tanks. It's been really weird.
Yeah. And a Warwick, yeah. So more tanky-ish.
One thing I want to note about Purple is you said you don't think he's gotten better, and depending on how you frame that, I would agree. Last season, he was traveling for work a lot, and he wasn't able to really practice during the entire regular season, and he wasn't, like, great. But he was able to get back into form for the playoffs, and we saw it in the finals, specifically, when he shat all over Swordandmace. Like, that's when we saw Purple playing at his actual level, which he played at in Season 7, and he's now playing at in Season 9. So if you just write off last regular season when he was not in practice, I agree he hasn't gotten any better. We're just actually seeing peak Purple Pickle Pie.
Yeah,
completely agree.
Really fucking good.
Yeah, because he's on like the he's not on the last place team. He's on Pot of Greed, so they're 4th right now. He's not up in the top 3 teams. I didn't think you guys would have him on the list, but I've been very impressed by his play throughout the whole season. And it's really refreshing to see him on a 4th place team, because usually he goes super cheap and then he just shits on everybody, and it upsets me every damn season.
Yeah, dude, he's a fucking beast.
He's a quiet carry. Like, he doesn't make a lot of flashy plays. This season, when he's killed someone, they've been flashy. Previously, I haven't seen it as much in the, like I said, previous seasons. But this season, like, he's a god up there. And he's been shitting on everyone top lane except for that Maokai game. In which case, he went like 0-0-0 for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, dude, that's a win for Sword, man. He got his revenge.
Alright. So, 4th on my MVP's list, another guy I don't like to give credit to, but real recognizes real. It's Salvo, who, fortunately for him, was not able to make that top lane switch that he really wanted to make, because I think Salvo's a super shitty top laner, but he's not a super shitty AD carry. And
no, he's not.
I think the most impressive thing to me was this last week when they were missing Dubdrum, and we were all like, well, you know, Coffee House is going to lose because Dubdrum is like what makes that team go. And Salvo goes 6-1-8 on Jinx.
Can I whisper something to the stream that's listening?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Go for it, dude. Free country.
Yeah. That team didn't win. We threw. So, I don't think that actually counts as a win if you look at the first 20 minutes.
That's fine, dude. Everyone knows the game doesn't matter until 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Thank you, Weldon Green.
I mean, I think we all gained an extra chromosome after 20 minutes. So,
I mean,
that's how the game went.
As a team, maybe, but Salvo individually did pretty well.
Oh, yeah. Not saying Salvo did badly. I'm just saying, like, from my perspective as a team, we were doing super well.
Let me read you off Salvo's score lines this season, okay? In reverse order, we've got Salvo Jinx 6-1-8, win versus Pot of Greed. Jin 8-1-9, win versus Quarterback Camp. Their only loss versus TSA, he still goes 8-4-9 on Ezreal. Then One Trick Bronies, Jin 9-4-7, Jinx week 1 versus Kickass 11-2-10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been on
No,
top of his game.
Yeah, he's still in my top 4. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it. I'm just the previous game is bad as an example.
I actually have Salvo higher than what Swift has him. I've been pretty damn impressed by Salvo, but I'm also I like Salvo as an ADC. So
let's go on to your list, Wes, because the way we reacted to mine, I think we might have more similar lists than we thought. So
yeah, I mean, clearly I don't
faster.
have myself, so I have one other person.
Oh,
But
that's true.
my number 1, and I'm biased, I put Blab, and obviously he's on my team, so that's why I put him on my lists. As it's part of the reason, but I think he's been playing amazing. If you look at his KDAs, they've been spectacular. He also has like probably the lowest damage taking out of everybody in the league. I think he averages like 7,000 damage a game taken.
Yeah, it's about 7,500.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, which is literally one of the lowest.
I mean,
Yeah, he's a positioning god.
I mean, that being said, he's been playing those ranged mages, but still, that's still
a big
awesome.
thing is like he's so important to the success of his team because Wes, you're not playing Peel Champs ever. Revan Toad has been playing Go Champs lately, like Leona the last 2 weeks, Blitzcrank the week before.
Yeah.
Swordandmace has been playing Nautilus or Swain where he wants to get in the face of the enemy team. Like you guys.
Yeah, no, he peels by himself pretty decently.
Yeah, you leave him and Bernie Sanders bot out to try, and you're like, guys, we'll kill their backline before you die, so just position good, and we'll win these fights. And Blab does it. Like, he's been so fucking good on Ziggs. He's going to start drawing 2 bans a week minimum.
It's funny that you say that, because we do go super hard, and then Blab's like, this guy's on the back of me, and then I just start running back to try to defend him. It happens every game. Of course, I think last game I wasn't able to save him one time. Shen got him. But anyways,
I saw that and I laughed so hard because Kishot got to kill him,
yeah.
And I had said Kishot needed to carry that game, and then he murders one of the carries, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what they need to do.
Yeah.
Except just do it more consistently to beat TSA.
So, yeah, I have him on. I've been really impressed, and that's not the only thing I've been impressed with, because I've never actually been on a team with Blab. I've played a handful of games in normals with him, and sometimes, as we all know, Blab is kind of passive-aggressive in his comments toward people. It's been actually a pleasure to play with him. We have not had any of that. Clearly, we've been winning, but even when we get behind early on and whatnot, very positive. I've enjoyed my experience so far. So.
Well, I think part of it is Blab has, I don't know if I can say quietly, but he's been a perennial loser in the SBL. He's played the entire Modern Era. He's finished 5th, 4th, 4th, and 6th. And he will make sure that everyone fucking knows that. So, and like, he's always been this guy where it's like, you watch him play and you're like, he's so close to being just like such a great player, but he's missing something. I talk about like the will to carry a lot, or like the ability to like be the number 1 on a team. I don't think he has that. But he doesn't have to be the number 1 on this team, and I think that's why he's thriving so much. Like,
yeah, I think that's why TSA is succeeding, is Blab needs someone who's better than him to be up in the face, taking the focus off of him for him to succeed, because he plays those ranged mages, and he's been murdering it this season because of it. And back to what you've said, Splinter, you've played with Blab this season. I've been on a team with him once. I work with him, and so we're friends outside of work. Blab does know that he gets tilty and he gets upset easily, but as long as things are going well and things are under control, he will thrive. And
I think what's also another thing that's good about our team is if we say something like, oh, we fucked up here, that's the end of it. It's one time said, we're moving on, and we don't continue to complain to each other. After the game, we may talk about it more.
We'll be able to get into your team.
Yeah. So anyways, I have him up first. One more point right before we move on. He went for 325. It's also another big thing. And he's killing it.
People shit the bed on that one.
So, all right. On my next one, I have Salvo. I put Salvo on second because we went into it earlier. I've been very impressed with just his. You can look at his KDAs and whatnot. He's showed up in every game.
Actually, I want to add one more thing on Salvo, because week by week, if you look at the scores, or even if you look at like the damage dealt, I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, Salvo's really good, and like Cruz is also really good as the co-carry, and Dub Drum makes everything go, and like Mad Cow is like doing his job. Salvo is way more important to that team than Cruz, regardless of what the stats say.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't mean that as an insult to Cruz. Like, I'm really happy with the way he's playing, and he's the perfect player for that team. But I see weeks where, like, Cruz is getting more MVP votes than Salvo, and it's like, if you actually watch the difficulty of what's going on in these team fights, Salvo is executing, like, at a way fucking higher level than Cruz. Like, Salvo is 100% the carry on that team. Don't let it, like, if Cruz gets, like, 2 million damage as Zyra because he dropped an ult before he died, like, not that Cruz is dying much, but, like, Cruz gets a lot of easy damage, Salvo gets a lot of really hard damage.
Yeah.
Which as an AD carry is your job.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, in general, mid laners get easier damage than AD carries do. And like Salvo, he's just like Blab, where like he's a positioning god. It doesn't matter what's going on. Salvo like he's just like Blab, dude. You don't want to peel for Salvo. You just want to like have everyone die of the enemy team because you know Salvo's gonna peel for himself somehow.
That's why I love having him on my team.
And he's an easy AD carry to play with because of it.
Yeah. He's in Twitch chat. I play Swain and stand there. Salvo has to orb block everything. So I'm done. Next time I talk about Salvo, I'm gonna shit on him. So.
All right. So number 3, I put Thrifty Senpai, and we went into it earlier. He has shown up. Did not expect him to play as good as he did this season so far. So impressed with that. Glad he can still just pick up the game and play at a high level. Of course, I was hoping he wouldn't, for my sake, because he's not on my team. And then I put Purple Pickle Pie, which I didn't think you guys were going to have because his team isn't doing great. So that was going to be the one where... Dude. But yeah, he's been the best top laner.
I'm a big fucking Purple fan. There's no way I'm going to miss that.
Yeah. So...
Do you guys mind if I go next with my list?
Please.
So, my list is a little bit different. For the first place MVP, I've actually got it split between 2 people, and I gave them 1 slot. And this is Renai Circulation and Master Splinter. Because I think if you put any other mid laner, even if it's Evo, even if it's... Okay, maybe not Thrifty, but any other mid laner that's not Blab or Thrifty, even if it's Evo, I don't think you guys succeed as well as you do. And... because of the way you feed off of each other, you're the best combo team right now, especially or combo duo right now, with how much damage you can put out, how well you can focus, and how well you can macro game together. And so I've got you 2 up there, and it's a single spot because if you pull any one of you away from that relationship, I think your team just falls apart.
Well, one thing I'd actually like to add, because I would have had Blab 5th on my list if I had a 5th. I agree with what you said about him being like, even though he's a similar player to Evo, he's way better for this team. And I actually think this team might be better with Blab than they would be with Thrifty.
I agree.
I think that might be true as well, because...
I played on LAN teams with Wes and Thrifty, and the problem is they're both so good that they struggle
both try to carry.
They both try to carry, and sometimes it like is a negative effect to each other. Blab knows to let Wes be the guy.
Right. He understands if someone's better than him to let them make the plays happen and to go along with it. And I think there needs to be a season where Blab can be the shot caller to actually see how the team functions and be the main carry. And I don't know if it's either gonna go really well or really poorly, and the entire season might just be really swingy in that. But I want to see that happen. So we've already talked about.
Take. I hope Blab never gets to be the shot caller. That sounds.
He
awful.
is our secondary. I think he talks the
That's
most
fine, dude. The secondary
out of everyone. Yeah.
The secondary.
No, and he does it very well.
Is not like training wheels to be a real shot caller.
No, it's not.
Did you know that Wang was the secondary shot caller on Team Swain? Fucking. Oh.
So that aside, my second place is Thrifty Senpai. As you had said, Swift, him coming back.
You add things as well.
Yes. As you had said, he wasn't expected to do super well this season. And he's outperformed himself. I think he did better this season so far than he did last season. So I think that speaks for itself. And he's the primary focus for all the teams when they're trying to take the team down, and he still does well. with all that focus, you have to do well, or your team's just gonna fall apart. Third place, I have Salvo, who's just Rockstar 80 carry, positioning god. Fourth place, I have Purple, because I think for Pot of Greed, he's the rock that they depend on, and with all that focus on him doing well, like even though Cameron and the rest of the team can carry, when Purple is doing well, it makes the whole team succeed, and even just watching our VODs, like everyone's fearful of Purple and trying to shut him down. So there's that. And then I have a shout out to Sensory GG. He didn't make the top 4. He made the top 5. He did go for $6. He went for more than Salvo, but we'll get into this later. I think he's part of the reason that the team has succeeded as well as they have, is because he's an awesome support and is just setting up things, and he's been a quiet utility carry for the Kick-Ass squad.
Oh, I agree.
Or, sorry,
he's been
not
really
Kick-Ass,
good.
Coffee House.
I agree. He's been really good, but we'll get to sports later.
Right.
Wait, what
before we
were
go
you
too
three
deep
for?
into it.
Yeah, my third was Salvo, and my fourth was Purple.
I just want to say, so before the stream went live, guys, we were in here talking, and everyone's like, "Oh, dude, I think I got a really different list. Like, I bet I'm gonna have some names that aren't gonna be on anybody else's." And I love that the three of us literally have the exact same players on our list, just in different orders.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, I'm the oddball then.
So pretty no
Oh,
pressure.
Oh no. Okay. Well, number 1. Well, my first 2 are the same. Master Split. Here, I'm just gonna copy and paste yours. There you go. Boom. All right, I'm not gonna talk about those losers anymore. They're too damn good at the game. They never stop being good. Give someone else a shot at being the stars of SBL. And then what I got? Number 3, I got the Mighty Wolf. And
Oh.
Okay.
yeah, so the reason I put him is, I know you guys always you talk about Thrifty Senpai, and he's like the real carry of this team. He does a lot of the work, but I mean, I think without an ally, someone who can also carry the game when Thrifty is maybe he has tons of pressure put on him, the Mighty Wolf fills those shoes perfectly, and he does it as a rookie as well, and like new to this whole SBL thing. His mechanics are great. Like on some of the games I've watched that I've casted, I think he has on par or even better mechanical skills than Cameron. But maybe Cameron's, he's having an off season, not playing the greatest or whatever. But I think Wolf's been killing it. Like straight up, there was some games I was like, man, this guy's some of the best ADC like skill in a team fight I've ever seen. But that's just me personally.
Dude, no, I agree. Like to the extent where it's like when you watch him, it's really obvious he's an incredibly good player at the game, and like that's why he's got such a high rank in solo queue. He just seems like he still hasn't fully gotten like the 5v5 game to me. And like there's just been a few games where it looks like he is tilting off the fucking face of the earth. Like some of their losses, he looks like he just gives up, and he's not like he gives up and he starts inting, but that week 4 game, dude, when he went 9-10 on Misfortune, I was just watching like, what is this idiot doing? It's a week 1. But both their losses, I guess, were like, I remember very vividly a few super bad plays where like he is just tilted to fuck. And he's one of those guys where, like, if I'm trying to guess how the second half of the season's gonna go, he's one of the really obvious picks where it's like, if he can just get a few things together in his head, this team takes off so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's definitely not a letdown. He's been good. I just didn't look at him as a top 4 when we look at our lists. I think I've been more impressed by watching these players play, and that's why he's not on my top 4.
The way I put it to people is, like, when I'm doing these kind of lists or any kind of awards in the SBL, I'm not trying to say who the best player is. I'm trying to say who's been the best in the 5 SBL games or in the 10 or whatever we're voting on. And, like, he said 2 games that just really stood out to me where, like, he was kind of a liability on his team. Like, not kind of, he was a major liability on his team. And also, it shows how fucking good he is that we can take like one aspect of his game and criticize it like this, because that's all we have to go in on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And if that's it for Wolf, my 4th one is actually Cruise Master.
Ooh.
Cruise Master. So the reason I say this is because in my mind he is playing like 100,000 times better than the way he should be playing, and I like, trust me, he's not the guy doing like all of the work on coffee. And I think you touched on it with the best, like with Salvo and like where Salvo stands on this team and how good he actually is for the team. But I think Cruz is equally as good, but just for different reasons, because he's the selfless player. He's been the support player his entire career, and basically plays a very support-ish style in the mid lane. But I mean, I've been really impressed by his mechanical ability too. Something that's something I don't expect from Cruisemaster. If I was gonna be honest, I don't expect him to make plays on his own. But sure enough, on Tuesday, he got a solo kill. Yeah, and he took Ignite, and I think that his progression as a player over his entire SBL career is like at its peak now, and I think he is on a team that is like in definite contention for winning the whole league at this point. So
over the last 2 weeks, Cruz's combined score is 13, 2, and 23. If you would have told me going into the season, Cruz would have a 2-week streak where he goes 13, 2, and 23 as a mid laner, I would have had so many things I don't feel comfortable saying on stream to say to you.
So
but he's 30, done it.
I have a question about that. Mm-hmm. You put Cruisemaster above Evolite. In this season, is Cruisemaster better? Are you saying
Cruisemaster is probably a better team player than Evo? Okay. But I honestly, you're right. I can't objectively say Cruisemaster is a better mid laner than Evo. Evo is damn good.
He's not. He's definitely not.
Yeah.
But the only person why you put him on there, because you expect Cruz to be the worst mid laner, but he definitely has been playing at a higher level, and I totally get why you put him on the list because of that, which I agree. He's been playing way better than I have ever expected him to do. So
exactly.
Well, and remember, Cruz went for 25 cents.
Yeah, and for 25 cents, holy shit! You've got an MVP on your list that went for 25 cents, and you were talking about Blab going for 325. This is ridiculous.
Darth Evo went for 525.
Dude, we almost had Evo on our team. We could afford him by 25 cents.
21 times better than Cruz, man. Haven't you seen the draft?
All right.
Well,
so letdowns.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I am so.
Did we have someone else go first this time, Swift?
Can I go first?
Maybe 30 should go first.
Oh yeah, let's do it reverse order. Let's do it reverse order.
You want to snake draft this? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Right. Real quick. Can I take a drink break?
Yeah.
Oh,
I gotta get another beer, guys. I haven't been drinking this whole time. I just started, guys. And if we're gonna be shitting on people, I have to have a beer in my hand.
I only have one beer left, so I don't know if I should grab that or make another.
Why don't you guys talk about how if I was playing this season, I would be the best top laner?
Swift would suck at top lane because Renekton would get banned, and then everyone would be like, "All right, we won top lane, guys."
Yeah, 5 bans.
That's how that would go.
5 bans does that.
I've never seen Swift play Poppy. Do you think he's a good Poppy player?
No.
No.
I guess maybe if you put in the time, he wouldn't be bad, but.
Yeah, but if he were to play Poppy right now, I think I could beat him top lane.
I'm back. I missed some shit. I'll have to watch the VOD.
Oh, you didn't hear any of that?
No, I was actually.
Perfect. Okay,
goal, dude.
Let's move along.
Biggest disappointments of this season.
All right,
30 caliber hit me.
Okay, so I guess we're doing the last one you list is going to be your biggest letdown, right?
No, the first one you list, right?
Well, I don't know because it's kind of like a quantity,
quality
that you
rate. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
that's you go reverse order.
That's really fun.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really spicy. Let's do it.
So my fourth biggest letdown is Hibbs.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with you right now.
Yeah. So, and I love the guy. I mean, honestly, he's a good friend. Well, I mean, he's a friend. I don't know if we're good friends, but I mean, he's a friend. And I played with him last season. And as far as his support play, not the greatest. I think he's definitely played better in the past, regardless of what role he was playing. Because I know he's swapped between ADC and support.
And jungle.
In jungle. He's had what, 2 jungle games so far this season.
2 jungle games. He did not do well
or week
on the jungle
week
games.
5. Yeah. No.
Oh, I guess he had a decent start for the first one.
Yeah, the Lee Sin game is actually deceptive because his early game was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, but the Sejuani, his early game was atrocious and one of the biggest
Yes,
flubs
it
I've ever
was.
seen in SBL as far as jungle pathing goes. But aside from that, if we just like sort of ignore the personal player aspect of Hibbs, I know he is someone who understands the game at a relatively high level and maybe has a more vocal, more shot call-y attitude, and that's what I kind of expected him to do in this team because, I mean, I don't know Sinister Blade, I don't know Hook Resets, but like on the win, he's good too. But I mean, he usually focuses on the game a little bit more. And Gabe, I'm pretty sure, does he even talk? Does he have a voice? I've never heard of. I've maybe heard him talk once. I don't hang around the guy a lot, but I expect him to be a little bit bigger of a team leader. I expect him different results.
A ton.
Well, yeah. Well, there you go. So I guess I'm sort of putting him on there, but really I'm putting his team. But I think he is like the main part of it that is like the driving force that could make this team good, and I think he's just sort of let me down.
Well, and as a diamond, you kind of expect that, right?
Yeah, and he's diamond, so you expect him to
I ignore that solo queue rank bullshit. I know that's a whole circle jerk or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not gonna comment.
Well, you should ignore it because he's actually platinum.
That's okay. That's
also 30. I just let me do a thought experiment with you real fast, okay? Imagine you've been playing League of Legends for the past 8 months.
Okay.
If you replaced Hibbs with you on this team, would it be better? Yeah, dude.
They would have won a game. They would have won a game.
I'm gonna say you guys would have won 2, maybe even 3.
Okay.
I don't know,
That's with me off-rolling support, like being jungle.
Yeah.
You say that, but last season you off-rolled support and did amazing.
Oh, I went back to main. I main back to
support.
support. Yeah, I off-rolled ADC. Don't worry about it.
You ain't a fucking off-roll support. You're a goddamn support, man.
Anyway, that's enough of me. That's my perspective on Hibbs. Wait, so Swift, are you saying you agree or disagree with that?
I'll get to Hibbs.
Okay. All right. So, third biggest disappointment is Cameron, and it's sure. I mean, basically, we can only look at his play, and his play has only been in 3 games, 2 games,
4 games. Nice try.
4 games? He's really played.
He's
4
been in
games?
4 games.
He's played in 4. Just missed week 1.
Okay,
I'm in support,
he
I'll
was
know.
missing from my perspective for at least 2 of those games. Honestly, I literally only remember him like doing stuff in the game.
Yeah, dude.
For
That's
2
because Camera Games just turned into Purple versus the World, and we're just hyping up the Purple Pickle storyline. And it's like, I'll randomly remember, oh yeah, shit, yes, Camera on his team. Wow, what's he been up to for the last 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so just from his play, it looks bad. He's not doing the big carry performances that he had last season, that's for sure. But it's not like the mechanical play about it. It's just the way that he like acts in the game. Like his positioning, I guess, is the biggest tell of that, and maybe some inside things I've heard from the team. Maybe, who knows? But it seems like
he says that they're all shit and that they don't need to practice because of that.
It is maybe. Yeah, who knows?
Something along those lines.
Yeah,
I'm a little disappointed by those comments. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, but it seems like he kind of went into this season with a grandiose view of himself and thinks he can get away with really silly mistakes and like poor positioning because he thinks he's playing against like really horrible players, but he's not. These players are good. I mean, they might not have like the solo queue rank that he does, but I think he definitely needs to step it up in terms of commitment and
this team would have won
attitude.
Probably another game at least, very least, if he just improved his positioning. Probably even more than that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, no, I mean, his positioning has lost them games, like straight up.
Yeah.
Like, easy.
Dude, my favorite was this last week. There was a point where you guys, Camera's team, had a nice lead. I say you guys because Failed Destiny's on that team. I'm talking to you right now, Failed. There's a point where your team, you guys were like leading by a ton. You were sieging the top tier 2, and then I think it was Mad Cow, Poppy. Just walks up, doesn't flash or anything, because flash is on cooldown, just casually walks up and keys Camera into the wall, and then he drops the Q, and everyone's blown up Camera before he can do anything. I was like, man, that was like, there was no flash outplay there. She just walked up to a wall when Poppy was in front of her tower and got stunned. And like, literally, that was one of the most like impactful Poppy E's you will ever see.
Yeah. I remember watching that VOD because I wasn't able to watch it live. And I was like, all right, these guys are doing pretty good. Cameron's actually stepping up. He's not doing shit. Like, he's not getting caught out, like, terribly a lot. And then that happens. And I was like, what the fuck, guy? What is... Come on, man. It's every week it happens.
Yeah, dude. I talk
Learn
a lot
from
about
it.
I feel like people kind of like laugh at me when I talk about players being better or worse than their solo queue rank. But like when you've played enough pre-made, you know it's true. Some players are better at pre-made than solo queue, and some players are worse. And Cammer this season, like we've clearly seen every like trait imaginable from a guy who's really fucking good at solo queue, just not being good in pre-made because just disrespecting his opponents and like completely overestimating the skill gap. And it drives me nuts because like it would be so easy to fix. Like I said, dude, you give me Cammer's hands, I'd be an LCS player. And in case anyone didn't know, I've always wanted to be an LCS player, so you give me those hands, I got a bank account. There's a few dollars in it.
Yep.
Alright.
So...
Wait. 30, you want to do a thought experiment with me real fast?
Sure.
Alright, knock.
Who's there?
Cammer.
Camera.
Exactly.
A thought experiment. It starts a knock joke. Okay.
Alright,
Very
go on to the next
psychological.
one. Go on to the next
Okay.
one.
And I actually just switched this. I had my list written up before this show started, but the more I thought about it, anyway, okay. This is my second one.
You edited it.
Is my boy Memeonomics, Simply Zach, the meme master himself. Oh man, like so going into the season, I was like, I guess I'm his only fan now. I guess he's like one of the new villains of this league or something, or I don't know. But I'm friends with him. I played on a team with him last season, and I think he's a pretty funny guy. I think he has a lot of passion for the game, and at least he respected my opinion and asked for it and thoughts and how to improve and stuff. And he grinded out solo queue a lot. When he first started last season, when he played SBL last season, that was like him playing League for the first time in a really long break. He took a huge break from it to just like unwind and untilt. And so he had to start from like basically scratch, get all of his skill back, and then before the start of the season, he hit Plat 3, maybe Plat, right, somewhere around mid Plat somewhere, which I thought was pretty good for where he was last season. And he tells me all the time about how he plays and he watches all these pro games, and I had a lot of expectations that he would play really well. This season, however, his performances have been pretty lackluster, and in fact probably has lost his team a couple games. The switch to mid is also interesting. I think he's a better jungler than mid. Obviously I'm only going off 2 games. But I think he has a better mentality for the jungle, and maybe mid's not made for him. But just generally disappointed in his play, his micro decisions and mechanics and stuff like that, which I'm sure you
Fair
guys
enough.
could probably agree with a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
All I'm saying about Memeonomics is when I posted last night that I was going to be doing this, he immediately commented, "Fuck yes, I can get flamed twice this week." That sums up his season.
It's pretty much, yeah. I think that's all that needs to be said. I'm sure you guys have more to say about him. But number one biggest
Wait,
disappointment.
wait.
Before you go on, I just want to add, so Pot of Greed has Purple Pickle Pie, who is an MVP on 3 of the 4 lists, and we now have Memeonomics and Cammer, who are also on Pot of Greed. I am the remaining starter. Can you not put me as the number 1 letdown?
Okay.
No, I want to do something fun real quick with Destiny and Splinter. Okay, I'm gonna count to 3. On 3, we're all gonna name who 30's top letdown is. Okay.
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 So 3, 2, 1, go. On go, you just say a name.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, whack.
Respect.
Oh, I can't believe we have 3 different names.
Okay.
We're gonna have to go into this later then.
Who said my Wang?
Ooh!
My Wang. And I heard Evalite out there. No, actually, I did not consider him at all. And then
neither did I.
Respect, actually, he is probably honorary number 5 for me.
I have Respect as my number 1.
Wow.
Well, don't spoil
Well,
it.
So do I.
spoiler. Okay. Anyway, my Wang.
Or no, he's not my number 1. I lied. Sorry.
And I think me and Swift are pretty much on the same wavelength when it comes to this guy.
Dude.
I don't know what there
Wait,
really
actually,
is to say.
Can can I ask you a favor?
Sure.
Can you just say nothing and leave this to me?
Yeah,
If any of
yes.
you guys have Wang on your list, can you just say nothing and leave this to me?
Because actually, I think it's actually better left unsaid for me. 'Cause
Oh.
it's pretty obvious, and I want you to explain why. So okay,
I'm
that's it for me.
shaking in my chair. Holy shit! I'm so glad we don't have webcams on.
So if we're gonna leave that 30, any remaining remarks before I give my list?
No, I mean,
So
I think there's plenty of disappointments. I think this season, if anything, is a season of disappointment. It's not like a.
I agree with that.
I
Yeah.
totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Like week 2 and 3, all we kept saying was like, "This looks like the BCL," and that's not a good thing. Like we've all gotten better.
I'm so happy
Yeah.
that it looks like it got more shitty because it just makes me look that much better.
The great part
Everyone's
is.
plat and gold and diamond, and we're playing like bronzes and silvers.
I know.
Yeah.
But
But that's
I was surprised the first 2 weeks, and then I got over it. And now I'm just like,
yeah, it's the most disappointing season for me, but it is by far the most entertaining of SBL
I completely agree.
I've ever
As a
watched.
caster,
Yep.
it's so much fun.
Yeah, it is so fun to watch all these games. But maybe it's because like we have 9 seasons of potential storylines, and like I don't know, maybe we're just better at telling those stories. But it's really awesome what we have here. So
Okay, so I'll start my list then.
go for it. I'm gonna go to the bathroom,
we've
so I'm not gonna write it down, but I will be back.
Okay, I'll put it in chat so when he gets back he can see it. But
Sounds good.
my number 1 is
reverse,
number
right?
4.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Hibbs. So we've already talked about Hibbs. I think Hibbs is a great player, and I think with how he was drafted with the team that he was on, he needed to do a little bit more for being tied for the top 3 that went for 375. On the Wind, Hibbs, and Thor all went for 375, and this was the season I think that Hibbs could have really showed off and showed why he is Diamond, and I think he's just gotten lost in the team a little bit. But still, he's a really good player. I have a lot of respect for him. And I think the second half of the season, he could really pull his team around. And they started, 0-5? I think they could really go... I think they could end up getting into playoffs. I don't think that's unreasonable, but it's going to be on him and Wind and Gabe O'Neill to really bring this team together.
Dude, I want to say so much from that statement you just said, but we got OTB equals WCF later on, so we'll talk about it then.
Later. So then, my third place, and Evelite, I said your name for 30's number 1 letdowns. I think he's an excellent player, but I think Sasquatch has done well. I think Evelite has done well. But from what I played with Evelite last season, I'm a little biased to say Evelite instead of Sasquatch, because Evelite did so much for my team and Splinter's team last season that I expected him to be possibly the number 1 mid laner this season. And with how things have just played out for Gruden's QB camp, to be in second to last place.
Whoa.
So you have Evo as number 3?
I do have Evo as number 3.
I mean, he went 12-on-7, carried them as the game.
Okay. Let me preface this. I think it's really fucking funny when Evelite loses because he whines like fuck when he loses. So I will definitely root against that boy all the time. He is the only bright spot on QBC.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's like, you walk out in the middle of the night and there's like the fucking sun's out, dude. Like, he's gone positive in 4 of the 5 games. He had one game, week 4, where he played Oriana, 1-5-4. But besides that, he's went 7-2-5 in a loss, 12-1-7 in his team's only win, where he single-handedly dragged them kicking and screaming over the finish line. A 6-4-2 Casio game, and then week 1 when he played AD carry 5-3-4.
And I don't disagree. It's just that, in my personal opinion, and I know it's very subjective, seeing Evelite, I might have put him on a pedestal this last season. And if I knew...
Right, so your
Sasquatch,
expectations were higher, so...
My expectations were higher.
Your expectations are retarded, man. Like, Evo's been, like... He hasn't been great or anything. Like, he's not as good as the best 2 mids, but he's, like, he's been fine and like so fucking much better than this team deserves. Like this guy's Froggen. He's playing with 4 Keith McBreeds. Even Froggen only has 1.
Right. So in my comparison to Rasasquatch has gone even, all or better, except for 1 game, and I think
Okay.
the one that he did worst, he was Varus. He went 4-6-5 the second week. I think Rasasquatch has done decently well, and I think Evelite has done decently well, but I just expected more because the 80 carry pool is really limited. I thought the mid lane pool was going to be Thrifty, Blab, and Evelite, and I really thought Evelite could have been the number 1, and so him being number 3 and maybe even number 4 under Cruise Master, I'm a little disappointed.
Whoa, hello. What is your
Hello.
number 3?
My number 3 is Evelite.
Okay, that's who you're at. To wrapping up about. Gotcha.
We're arguing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other comments? I know it's a little bit spicy for you other casters or Splinter.
What?
Any other thoughts on my comment about Evelite?
Yeah, no, I just think he has. I mean, he hasn't been super flashy in lane phase, but that's never been his thing. So I don't expect him to like destroy kids in lane phase, which is part of his. He needs to improve that part of his game.
Oh yeah, dude, he's a total cock about the lane
Yeah,
phase. Like,
yeah.
holy
But
crap,
I mean, he's
man.
very good outside of lane phase.
That's
But
true. That's really
he
true.
needs to improve during lane phase because that's how they're going to get more wins. Which
Yeah. But if you told me last season that the team that went undefeated in the regular season, their mid laner, who was one of their star players, joins the team and goes 1-4, I would say, really?
One of the
Especially
things,
with Rasasquatch and Wang.
Wang's the problem here. I actually want to defend Evo a little bit more here. I think it's really tough because like it's easy to say like, oh, he never roams, he has no idea how to spread like a winning lane into anything else. But in literally every single game he's played mid lane, his jungle's been losing, and it's not just that. Well, except for last week, his jungle was winning early and didn't start losing till team fights. But like Wang is always just. He's like you have a backpack full of gold with a giant hole in it, and he's just running around the enemy jungle. Like, it's
I didn't
really
have super high
hard
expectations of him.
It's really hard to be a roaming mid laner when your jungle is just shitting gold for the enemy team to pick up like that. So, like, I can't put it all on him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's just I didn't expect Wang to do better. And biggest disappointments is someone I expected to do really well and is really underperforming. Like I would say Cruise Master has done better than Evelite this season, and I wouldn't have expected that I would ever say those words after the draft this season.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
So then, unless anyone's got any other comments, another spicy one for second for disappointments, and maybe I thought disappointments were a little bit different than everyone else. The Mighty Wolf, who was 30's third MVP.
I look like a Joker now. Oh.
So
no, dude,
the
I
games
agree
that
that
I've
he's been
casted
not bad.
and all of the games I've watched, I go, this guy's diamond, because there's times I go, is this bronze or is this diamond? And if I have to do that for a diamond player, it's just I've expected him to do better. Some games he's gone off, some games he's confused me very much so.
My favorite thing was in week 1. He was playing Jhin, and there was this play where the enemy team was like roaming south of Baron, and he just walked into the mid lane, the first river bush, like out of mid lane. And it was like his entire team was engaging from the jungle, and he comes in and he drops the Jhin ult, and I'm like, oh no, here comes the Mighty Wolf with the legendary flanking AD carry play, and he immediately gets jumped on the first shot at insta-gimp, and it was like one of those like, you put your head in your hands, like, what is this idiot doing kind of plays. I got like multiple messages about it. They thought I killed the cast on it, so I really vividly remember that play.
Yeah.
And I love the Mighty Wolf because I think he's like the only player like in a very long time where you could actually justify him on both of those lists like that.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
Yeah, mechanically, if I were to 1v1 him, I would lose 100 times out of 100, and I think I can say that for not necessarily 100 out of 100, but I think he would win most 1v1s. But when it comes to the macro play, I think he just gets a little too hyphy and ends up looking bronze because of it.
I think he kind of does what Cameron does, where he really disrespects his opponents, so he tries to, like, force things, but he's not as, like, retarded as Cameron is about it.
Yeah.
Oh, but also in the same sense, like, he doesn't get the leaves that Cameron gets for doing it.
Wait, so are you saying Demay Wolf's just less dumb than Cameron? When it comes to macro?
I came back to that, and that, yes.
Yeah, basically.
So my spicy number one letdown is actually Cameron.
Okay.
That's not spicy, dude. Cameron sucks.
But number one, though, that's...
Okay, guys, Cameron, last season, he won the championship. He got to Diamond 2. He went from Diamond 5 to Diamond 2 in the playoffs. Like, it was like, I'm in the playoffs of a League of Legends league. I'm going to try for the first time. He then proceeds to 3-0 shit in wet Master Splinter's mouth. Like, I wasn't sure Master Splinter was ever going to come back from that. I didn't think anyone on that team was ever going to come back from that. Like, and
Hey,
it was
man.
all fucking Cameron, dude.
I had a good
Like,
game, but we lost.
During the draft this season, I was saying that TSM should sign Cameron instead of Wild Turtle. And this is what we got instead.
You
That is
jinxed
true.
it. You jinxed it.
This Cameron is way worse than Wild Turtle, and Wild Turtle sucks.
Oh, man.
Anyways, please continue. I'm sorry I interrupted.
So yeah, I think for Pot of Greed to do well, we just have to, and I say we because obviously I'm on that team. We just need to figure our shit out, and not to say like there's drama or anything. It's just like as a team right now we're a very awkward phase, and I think all of the people on it. I mean, we see Phoenix Blaze, who is right now a bench player, has 4 MVP votes, who is higher than Cruisemaster on the MVP list, and Swordandmace, and Cammer. And so I think if we just figure our stuff out, we could be much better. That's getting into like
You
the
want me
team
to tell you what
dynamics.
you need to do?
Go for it. Enlighten us.
Stop fucking feeding and let Purple carry, because that guy's gotten ahead every fucking week, and you guys just continue to feed and make it so his kills mean nothing.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Cameron needs to improve his fucking positioning.
Yeah,
End of
I
story.
agree. Yeah, so my number one letdown ends up being Cammer, but I've laned with him. I know he's a very mechanically sound player, and I would still lose to him just as much as the Mighty Wolf. I don't know which one's a better AD carry, but I just know this season compared to last season, it doesn't really look like the same Cammer. So
I agree.
I honestly, I don't think anyone can refute that.
yeah, that's my list. I thought it was gonna be spicier, but you guys.
Well, it would be more spicy if I didn't have
No.
Cameron on my list, which I do.
Yeah, for me, the whole wolf thing is really interesting because I didn't expect that to happen at all for any. Like, why would an MVP be on a letdown for someone else? You know, it's crazy to think about.
I guess expectations.
Yeah, everyone has
I think
different expectations.
Destiny's list looks more of like he expected all those people to do extremely well. Which, I mean, I expect a lot of the people that I have on letdowns to do well too, but
Well,
maybe
let's
they weren't.
hear it
Do
then.
you
Let's
wanna-
hear it.
yeah.
Who's your
Yeah,
fourth biggest
so
letdown?
I had Wang for number 4, and I want to go into why that, but I'll leave it for Swift.
Okay, we'll leave.
Yeah, I
Wang
got
for
my own
Swift.
comments.
Yeah, I had Wang
got my
number
own
4.
comments, too.
Number 3, I had Hibbs, and that's because obviously we kind of talked about it. He is a diamond. If you want to, like, his account is a fucking diamond. If he got boosted, whatever, he is now Diamond 3.
And he was bought
He's
as a
not
diamond.
carrying like a Diamond 3. Yes, he's support, but you expect him to take maybe that game knowledge and lead his team to victory at least once.
Mhm.
So I just been kind of disappointed by his play. He came in a little more hyped up. Obviously, a lot of people were giving him shit for being boosted, and you know that was his time to be like, "Hey, fuck you guys," and then just.
I like
Get
how
on,
that's
kids,
like
right?
just fact. Actually, people just say yeah because he was boosted. Like no one says like oh, rumor says he was boosted. Like actually, I can't state this with any any evidence.
Look,
Well,
he-
actually,
but he might have
he'll
boosted.
admit to it. No, 30. He was actually boosted. The Mighty Wolf played with him on a Smurf account. It was not in Diamond 2. And they got him to
Yeah.
start playing that. That's like the literal definition of boosting.
Now-
There's like 2 types of boosting. There's the kind where like they just log into your account, but that's dumb. You don't pay to do that because then Rise can be like, "Whoa, dude, why did Iro Hibbs have like a bunch of logins from China for 2 weeks? We should just ban him."
And we're
there's the
giving him a
kind
lot
where-
of shit because I'm pretty sure Dub had that happen where someone boosted his count. Legit
Well, yeah,
went on his
Dub
count.
Jump-
And I would get Dub more shit for letting that happen than Hibbs. Because he
Dub
just was
Jump got
playing with
banned
his
for
friend.
it.
And it's not like Hibbs is terrible. I think he's actually a pretty good support. I don't think, he's that good at any other roles. But then again, you could say that about myself too. So, but I'm still disappointed. I was hoping that he'd come out and actually play better than he is. Just because I feel bad when everyone talks shit about him. But yeah, he deserves it.
All right.
Anyways, moving on.
Mhm.
Camera is my number 2. I expected him to actually come right back in and play exactly how he did last season, and very disappointed. Especially in some of the things that I heard. We talked about that earlier. But, yeah. And his positioning sucks. He needs to get his shit together.
Actually, we have a surprise guest. It's Cameron's adopted father, Wesley Wera. How do you feel about the fact that your adopted son can't position? You've known this boy since he was 13, Wes. How come
This
he
kid-
can't position?
So, I watched a video on Reddit about with like Zyrene or whatnot, where he's like, let's talk about this team comp. And then he's going into like everything they're picking. He's like, these guys cream on that team. Dude, this guy gets creamed on every fucking week because of his positioning. And I met him when he was 13. He's 13 years old and he's getting creamed on. Now he's fucking,
Is
I don't
this
even know how old
rated
he is.
Oh, dude, Twitch is taking us down with that one. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
We'll move on from the cream, alright?
Yeah.
Anyways, number 1, I have Respect as my number 1 disappointment. And I'm a little subjective because I expect him to play at a lot higher level because I play with him actually a lot, and I know he's actually capable of doing that. So I expected him to do a lot, especially going for 850.
Oh yeah.
That's really the killer. Like, he went for 850, dude. Who drafted that team? Was that Muffin?
Wait.
No, that was John Gruden. in
John
the rank.
Gruden's QB
Well,
camp.
so here's the thing. Fritz paid that, and the reason he paid that is because he expected Respect to be more of a shot caller because he is a very vocal voice on a team. And
But that was him as a support, right?
yes, and I'm going to go into that too. He should be a very vocal team or a vocal leader on that team, as well as he plays the game a lot. So his thought process in drafting him is, well, plays that much, he's going to be keeping up his mechanical skills and his knowledge of the game. That should be a valuable asset. And I agreed. I don't know if I would have paid $850 for him, but I thought, he's definitely $650 or whatnot or a little higher. It might be worth it. And I'm just, I kind of let down by it. That being said, I think he should move back to support. Put EvoBot, put Wang back mid. And then we'll get into that, because I don't want to get into it too much.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
Yeah.
Because I agree with all that. So I think that puts it down to my list.
Mhm.
All right, can I do an honorary 5th? Because
for it.
I couldn't
Sure.
keep this to 4. So 5th, Vemonomics. This guy.
Did anyone
Man.
expect him to fucking do good, though? That's why I didn't have him on my list.
I don't know why I had heard a bunch of hype about this kid. He got to like Platinum 3.
I did not
was
expect
like,
him to do as bad as he's doing. But I
Dude.
guess, I don't know.
him in the jungle is like, if Wang wasn't in this league, it would be really embarrassing. But like, fortunately, he has Wang taking some of the pressure off of him. I don't know, man. Like, I didn't expect him to do I didn't expect him to be like the best, but like he sucked, man. And then like he played Twisted Fate, dude. Like that joke wrote itself. So 4th, I gotta name this not on anybody's list, and I'm happy that we have something new here. Is On the Wind.
Oh.
Okay.
Like on
All
the
right.
Wind, I was talking to somebody recently, and I was like, Salvo is the dumbest great player I've ever known. And someone asked me, like, well, who's the smartest bad player you've ever known? And I couldn't think. And then somebody was like, dude, it's On the Wind. I was like, holy shit, it's definitely On the Wind. On the Wind's a genius. Like, for so long, he was a genius top laner. But,
Yeah.
like, he was playing, like, imagine if instead of hands, you just had wieners. That's what On the Wind was playing with. Like, his laning phase was so fucking bad. Like, mechanics are just mad. But he was so fucking smart, and it got him like plat at one point, man. And like I was on the win hype train. Like he's still a guy. If I have to talk to people about top lane like matchups or anything, especially now that I'm not playing, like I message Win. I'm like, yo, dude, like I think Camille's power like curve is kind of like this, and like in matchups she's gonna play like this. Am I right? And he'll be like, yeah, dude, or like here's this one like thing you didn't think about. And like he knows how to prep waves and shit, and his TPs are always so good. And like this season, it's like he took a step back mentally. And that made the entire game just cave out on him because that was the only thing he had going for him. And it's so sad because besides Purple, Underwood was the only top laner I really like was a fan of. I'm kind of a fan of like Mad Cow when he's like playing Mordekaiser and hard carry and shit, but he's so dumb that it's like hard to be a super fan of him, you know?
Dude, I
appreciate
wanted
that
to
he
play
can
the
wreck
Mord.
kids.
I want to watch that so bad. Anyways,
So, that's on the wins. Third, it's Cammer. Like 10 minutes into Cameron's debut in week 2, I said his team wasn't going to lose a game, and he made me look dumb for saying that. Come on, man. Don't ever make me look dumb. I'm not a dumb person. I don't deserve to look dumb. So fuck you, Cameron. And I think we've all set it up like Cameron. So now, let me take a drink real quick. Second biggest disappointment of the Swain Batty League. Season 9. Let me read you off his last 4 games. Elise, 4-10-4. Graves, 0-6-4. Daco, 1-7-4. Ivern, 1-3-7. When you're debating whether a 4-10-4 or a 1-3-7 were your best games of a 4-week split, including a game that you had won, you might be my Wang. I was so excited, man. Wang was the ultimate perennial loser. In the first 6 seasons of the SBL, he had gone winless, was it 3 or 4 times? Like, he was last place in all but 1 season, where he finished 3rd of 4. And, like, I convinced him to go to mid, and then, like, he was a really good mid, and he got a 3rd place with a good season, and then he won. And I was like, this is it. Wang's finally turned the corner. Goes back to the jungle, and he immediately has no idea what to do. The fact that this last week, when he played Elise and he started 4-1, I was telling people the scariest thing is a fed Wang, and I was right, because he went from 4-1 to 4-10. Like, I was his biggest fan, and he's let me down.
Wait, like, you said he went 4-1, right?
He started 4-1.
He was 4-1.
Yeah. I just wanted to reiterate, he was 4-1, 4-1-0, and 30 and I were talking about how impactful Wang had been for the team that game, and then we kind of kept a counter going for the amount of fights he was in and participated with, where he either didn't get an assist, or he just continued dying. And we were amazed that all of a sudden, he was 4-1-0, and that it just snowballed out of control, and he ended at 4-10-4. It did not look like the same player for that first and second half of the game.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
And I've got a lot of respect for Wang. Like, I think he's really good. I think, on average, he's probably in the middle of the team when it comes to skill. And some games he does a lot better, and some games he just, he's kind of in the middle. These jungle sessions have been really hard on Wang.
Well, that's what drives me nuts, is he played so much jungle for so many years. Like, he has skill. But as soon as you put him in the jungle in an SBL game, it's just like...
It's always bad.
He is that leaking shitty sack of gold in the enemy team's base. Like...
See, like...
Have you guys ever played Dominion? Like, imagine if those Dominion points you could just find in the jungle, and they gave you 350 gold every time you right-clicked them. That's been fucking Wang in the last 4 games.
Oh, jeez.
Rough.
Yeah. Oh, I on the stream. I don't know if you guys were watching it all. I put the first 18 picks of the draft. You can see who number 1 is. It's my Wang.
I can't believe Wang was. It was. I mean, the draft order isn't like a huge deal,
right?
But generally,
no, just general interest. This is how big of a letdown he is. He went number 1 in this draft. Case
Yeah,
closed.
I think that goes back to him being like one of the average players of the league. Like typically, if you get my Wang, he's not going to be a bad asset to the team, and I think that's why he went first. You're not going to pay a lot for him. He's not going to go really cheap.
Bill,
He's going to impact your team.
What was the first season of the SBL you played? 5 or 6?
5.
All right. There were 4 seasons you went around for.
I watched
2
season
of them.
4.
Wang
I watched
did
season
not
4,
win a
and
single
that was
game.
WCF. I did watch 4.
It's just I try so hard to be a stan, but in the jungle, it's
Dude,
bad.
I was always on the Wang is gonna fucking suck when it comes to SBL. Ben, like I was always on that until he proved me wrong last season, beat my team in the finals, and I was very impressed by his play in the mid lane on
He's
that
a great-
finals.
he's a
He
very
did
good mid
amazing. And then, right, they switched it. He went to jungle. I understood the move, and as hesitant I am to be like, don't put Wang in the fucking jungle ever. I agreed with him trying that because it seemed at the time putting those people in those positions seemed to be, okay. It's not working. You guys need to switch it up. Put him back mid.
Yep.
Put him back mid. Try fucking that fucking spicy bot lane with respect support and Evo AD, and just hope to God your top and jungle don't feed.
Can I add something quick?
All right,
Gruden's
one last
QB
note.
camp for this team was expected, I at least thought, to do much better. And with how Kishot has been performing top lane, with Kishot top, Wang mid, Rasas, and Evelite bottom, and then Grand Spiffy or Slimbuzi jungle, I thought this team would be like one of the top 2.
I think everyone did.
And right now they're the second last.
I just listened to the drunk analysis actually yesterday at work. I didn't listen to it live. I hadn't listened to it at all. And I had a chance at work to stream it on my phone. And I thought it'd be really funny to see in retrospect how we felt about all these teams. And I laughed so hard at everyone thinking QBC was going to be good.
Yep.
And that brings me into my next pick. And let me preface this, guys. For those of you that know me for a while, anytime I start talking about a player, and I immediately preface it with, so this is a guy I really like as a person. That's a tell I'm about to say nothing good.
I thought
about them
Wang
as a
was your
player.
top player. Didn't you
No,
say
Wang was
Wang
number
earlier?
2, dude.
He just thought it was my number 1.
Let's go even further beyond.
Okay.
So anytime I say this is a guy I really like as a person, I'm never about to say anything good as them as a player, okay?
Yeah.
So Hibbs. I really like him as a person.
I wasn't expecting him to be that high on your list.
He said it earlier, but I forgot who he said.
Yeah.
So.
Going into this season, he was one of the, 4 diamonds in the league? Because not everyone had placed back into diamonds. Like, even at this point, it's like Hibbs, the Mighty Wolf, Thrifty
Hammer.
Senpai, National Splinter, Cammer, I think are diamonds.
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the others. And it's Hibbs. One Trick Bronies has been just a train wreck. I cannot believe how bad they've been. And I've never noticed Hibbs having more than 10 or 15 minutes of impact in a game. And I know he is a better player than what he has been in this so far this split. And man, it was really funny listening to the drunk analysis when he was so convinced that his team was going to be very good because obviously they have not been. And that poor guy. I hope they can get it back together.
Rip.
Yeah. Is he the lowest purchased diamond ever
Yes.
in SBL?
375.
Yeah, 375.
I think that's
yeah.
the lowest.
That's probably the lowest by far. Yeah,
That's a
does
whole
it.
other story. Muffin's fucking draft was just holy shit.
Oh,
He tried to save his money.
The funniest thing was, I'm so sorry, Hibbs. I don't want to rub shit in your wounds, but I'm gonna. When you were defending your team on the drunk analysis, you were like, well, actually, the way the draft played out, I got to literally make my picks of the players, and Muffin pretty much let me pick the players we would draft, and that was just the funniest thing to hear from a last place team. As somebody who's had some disappointing seasons in the SBL.
Wait a minute. Really? That doesn't seem... Honestly, Muffin is the drafter who takes a lot of pride in his drafts. I really wouldn't think he would listen
terrible
to
drafts.
He
So
bombed
I
with the
hated
sun.
his drafts when Tree was in the league because he always just picked Tree and it just kind of pissed me off. I get why he did it, but it still just pissed me off. And then he had a great draft last season, and now
Yeah.
he just returns with expectations and just like fucking fails.
Yeah, it looks
SBL
like a failure on paper right now.
SBL drafting is really hard. I tried it once; it didn't go good. But that was a really long segment on our biggest disappointment. So I think we're ready to go on to our next segment here. So we are gonna do so we were talking about this beforehand. We kind of agree, and people I've talked to off the stream kind of agree, that there's a top 3 teams in the SBL and there's a bottom 3 teams, and there's a big gap. And obviously that breaks down by record. So we're gonna try to figure out which, like, just not just looking at the record, but who the best of the bottom 3 teams is. So we've got Pot of Greed, Gruden's QB Camp, and One Trick Bronies.
I think it's an easy decision. Pot of Greed is definitely the best out of those. They've even in games they've showed it. Like in my opinion, Purple Pickle Pie has one top lane every single game. Cameron just needs to fix his positioning. End of story. They'll be a way better team.
Yeah, I agree. It's a team that you can see the pieces being put together. It's just not all there yet. And I think in a couple weeks we're gonna see probably the full lineup of what they can put into a playoff run.
So I have a question. If everyone's in agreement on Pot of Greed, and I'm not going to say anything, but how high in the standing can Pot of Greed get before playoffs, or when playoffs happen? How high are they going to get? Are they going to just be a 4th place team? Are they going to be a 3rd place? Are they going to beat TSA, which I think at this point is almost impossible? But is it just they're going to be 4th and they're the best of the bottom 3?
I definitely think Pot of Greed could win the whole SBL. If they get their shit together, they could still be the best team. I'm not saying I think they will, but like you see,
agree to a point.
They're not that far off. Like if you look at the 5 games TSA has played and the 5 games Pot of Greed has played, it's a lot easier for me to imagine Pot of Greed fixing the few things that's wrong and running the table than it is for me to imagine TSA winning out.
Well, you don't know what else we have up our sleeve, Swift.
You guys
We've been able to
nothing
play the same fucking thing every
Sounds
week.
like a twisted fate.
Exactly, dude. You have nothing else. You take away Jarvan and 6, and you guys will go 0-5. Guaranteed.
You heard it here. Banners. Pick up Jarvan and 6 for this team, and you have now got a team that's 50-50 and now in 3rd or 4th place.
We'll get to TSA later. As you can see, there's a how to beat TSA that's going. But I guess maybe a better way to phrase this is looking at the bottom 3 teams. Can all 3 of them be fixed? Like, do they all still have a hope of going for the 4th seed? I guess we'll segue this on to the next topic. Like,
no.
Are any of these teams unfixable?
Yeah.
Which one's fun?
Yeah, One Trick Bronies.
One Trick Bronies is not
fixable.
fixable. They're gonna be fucking last.
Oh.
Yeah, I would say, looking at this team, they're not bad, but just looking at the rest of the teams and how they played out this season, I just don't know how they can beat them.
They can.
Right.
I think this lineup has more raw talent than maybe Pot of Greed or QBC. I haven't done the calculations, but I think, if anything, they just got to get their team coordination together, because Gabe O'Neill, Hibbs, and On the Wind are very good players, I believe. I know. They are good players. They're very good players. So I think there's still hope. It's the SBL, man. I think these guys could get their shit together and pound some of the bottom teams into the dust.
Yeah, I've got comments for that, but I think that's our next segment.
Okay, so like let's just say, right? Yes, okay, because that's the who's going to take 4th. So
right.
Fuck it, dude. Let's just melt all this together. We got the best of the bottom 3, the race for 4th, and
it's all
One Trick Bronies.
One Trick Bronies. They beat fucking Gruden's and Pot of Greed. Let's say they beat them both. Pot of Greed only needs 1 win. They beat Gruden's QB camp. They already take 4th. Really? That's saying One Trick Bronies is going to lose to the top 3, which they are.
Most likely, yes. Okay. So, but as their playoff
That's why
chances
I don't
are
think they
slim.
can come back from 0-5.
Right. I guess I wasn't really talking about. I guess they're definitely they're not gonna take 1st in the league, but I think they can turn around their
or even
performance.
4th.
They cannot
4th would be hard.
They cannot be like the
standing.
absolute worst 6th place team. They can maybe look like maybe a 4th place team on their best day.
They could look like a 3rd or 2nd place team, but when it comes to playoffs, they're going to need to essentially win out.
Yeah.
Which is going to be almost impossible against TSA, Coffee House, and Kick-Ass.
They need to win 3 or 4 games to make playoffs. I mean, for sure, not necessarily. Technically, they do not. But in the next 5 games, I'm thinking they got to. Because I expect Pot of Greed to win another game.
So my comment for One Trick Bronies, I think their problem is all of the carries or all the people we expect to do really well are too passive. I've played with On the Wind, and I think there's times he can go aggressive, but with the rest of his team and the mindset that they have, I think Gabe O'Neill's too passive, I think Hibbs is too passive, and I think On the Wind is too passive, and the other players just can't step up to be aggressive enough for that team to succeed. If they could find a player to be aggressive and have a shot caller and have the team follow up on it, I think instead of looking at a 0-5 team, we would be looking at least at a 3-2 or 2-3 team. Because of the talent that they have on the team.
What do you think about Thor coming in and probably being their mid laner for the rest of the season?
Yeah, Sinister
I think that's
Beyblade
going to
going
happen.
for 250 and he's a one trick on Katarina. I think Thor will do better. I don't know what a perfect team comp is for One Trick Bronies. I believe that they have the CLG potential to do better, obviously, than what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do with Thor. I just can't see them not taking 6th.
Have we seen crazier things though, Splinter?
Yeah, we
Yes.
saw a 5-0 team
Yes.
lose 3-0 in the finals.
Yeah, and
last
I was on a team that went 0-4 and made all the way to finals.
And then you
lost
guys
in
came
game
back,
5.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've seen some pretty crazy shit.
Well, that's the that's the storyline. I know I've referenced on Cast a few times, and I have to keep hammering in Team Flashlight. That team started 0-4, and it literally looked like 30 and no one that would ever be of value to any SBL team ever. Like, I remember very clearly, my team played 30's team in Week 5, Team Flashlight, and I was like, this is the game where we turn our season around. We instead gave them their first win that started them on this big spiral all the way to Game 5 of the finals. And still, after that season was over, it was like, well, it's 30 and Kindhosen and no one that'll ever be of value.
I get that. I just don't see Thor playing at any sort of level that he did previous seasons.
That's
Ever.
absolutely true.
Again. And On the Wind has just not been as active in playing the game as well. Because, yes, On the Wind has had really good seasons where if these guys are playing at that level, then yeah. But I don't see him playing a whole lot, so I don't expect him to all of a sudden become, good again.
Yeah, it's gonna take time, and yeah, something like an epiphany during their practice would have to happen for them to figure it out. But yeah.
Yeah. As for Gruden's QB camp, though, I think they could even take 4th. They're only 1 game behind. I think if they switch it up, they really need to put Wang back mid.
Yeah, Gruden's QB camp, I can actually see taking 2nd place. If they get into finals and if they fix their shit, I can see them being a 2nd place team at the end of the season. I don't think they can beat whatever the number 1 team ends up being, which is likely TSA.
I think what they also need clear-cut direction. I feel like they're lacking shot calling on that team, and you can kind of see it.
Yeah, and that's something I think gets better if you put Rasas back to support, you put Wang back to mid. I think it gets better. Actually, because I am curious. I'm going to pull up the season master list really quick.
But Destiny, who did you say was 4th?
OTB is dead. No hope.
Yeah, I'm putting a short synopsis of everyone's thoughts for Race for the 4th.
Yeah, I think Pot of Greed is pretty clear unless Gruden's QB camp can fix their shit. Right. If they fix their shit, they're better than Pot of Greed, and I'm on that team. Not to say that Kick-Ass and Coffee House are still better than Pot of Greed. I'm just saying that for how the rest of the season plays out, I think Gruden's QB camp is objectively on paper better than Pot of Greed.
So I want to go back to when these teams were drafted because we all assumed there was no way Gruden's QB camp would put Wang anywhere near the jungle. So let's say if Wang's mid, that obviously puts Evelite and Rasas as the bot lane, and they just don't give a fuck about the jungle and top and hope for the best. So the other three players, we got Grand Spiffy, Kiss Shot, and Sinister. A Slim Boozy. Kiss Shot has a 2 in the jungle, so unless he beats out one of those other guys for top lane.
Well, no, Kishot is an amazing top laner. Like all the games I've
that.
casted, him top lane, he's gonna do
He's only played top lane twice, and it's not been well.
This last game with Shen, he did really well.
His
and
1,
I think
6, and 12 Shen game?
No, the beginning half of it, he did really well. Like in lane.
Spiffy played Shen the week before. He had a worse score line.
No, Kishot.
Kishot played Shen in week 5. Spiffy played Shen in week 4.
Right, yeah, I'm talking about this most recent game with Kishot.
It wasn't any good. You're nuts.
I mean, he killed Blab.
Well, Blab sucks. Fuck Blab.
I'm just saying, the games I played with Kishot, like putting him top lane, he might be better than On the Wind.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You're dumb, dude. What the fuck? You don't know anything about top lane. You're just some dumb support player.
Oh,
and
no.
You should go back and listen to my comment earlier about you playing Poppy.
My Poppy was okay. Anyways,
I'm just saying, like, from what I've played with Kishot and what I've played with On the Wind, like, On the Wind is really good. Kishot has been performing really well, and it might be just variance that Kishot's done really well, but Kishot, I think, is a silent... Yeah, go ahead.
I've got 2 types of insight on this. First of all, I talk to Wang all the time. I'm very privy to how things are going on the team from his perspective. But also, last season, the team I drafted had Kishot and Spiffy both on it. Spiffy ended up being our bench player, Kishot being our starting support. So I know what they're like as people and like what their practice is like. Neither of them played top lane at all for us last season because that was between Thrifty and Blab. But Kishot is like a higher baseline talent level, but Spiffy practices a lot more. And so far this season, Spiffy's played top lane 3 times, Kishot's played it twice. Neither of them have been good, but I think Spiffy's been the better top laner.
Yeah, which could be true. I mean, I'm just looking at what I've really noticed and called out on, and the thing I fixated on was that Kishot's been doing well. So, yeah.
You're biased because you know the guy, dude. I'm sorry. I like these guys. I liked him enough to draft him, but...
Actually, I just really met Kishot at this last LAN, and it's embarrassing for me, but I actually confused Kishot and Phoenix Blaze. So, that's my own fault, but yeah, I mean, still playing with them and getting to know them, I think Kishot's done well. I wouldn't put him better than Purple or Mad Cow or anyone else, but just
not.
On this season alone, Kishot might be performing at On the Wind level. And that's outside of SBL games as well. So, yeah.
All right,
just my 2 cents. Probably garbage perspective.
I'm going to go off the signups real quick because, as we were saying earlier, if you fix this team with Wangman, Rasash, Evolite Bot, you have to have a competition for your jungle and your top lane.
Right.
And we assumed this would happen at the start of the season, and, you know, that would mean at this point they would have had 5 weeks of practice to figure out who's good at this.
You would try it out a little bit more.
I still think they have a chance to fix things, but they have to tell these guys, like, you stop practicing support, you're gonna be the top in the jungle, I don't care which 2 of you it is. And as far as their signups go, their best in the top lane is a 6. But these guys aren't that great anyways, so it's like, you know...
Wait, so who jungles on that team? You guys might have said that.
And that's the other point of competition. So, there's 2 things that can't happen. Slimbuzi has a 3 for top, so he's not going to be the top laner, and Kishot has a 2 for jungle, so he will never be the jungler. So you have Spiffy Kishot compete for top, and you have Spiffy Slimbuzi compete for jungle. Spiffy has jungle as his second best position at a 7.
Then you got to put him and try that.
And he started top 3 games.
Yeah.
So you put him in the jungle and Kishot top, or you put Slimbuzi in the jungle, which is tied for his second position at a 6, way behind his support, but it's still his second position, and then you let the 2 guys that have competed for top play top. Like, you gotta take these guys. Any of these guys are going to be better than Wang in the jungle.
Right, and what's also something that they could do is if they're not even comfortable playing on the meta like like jungle champions, just put them on like a tanky CC person.
Right.
Put them on a
Or
tanky CC. Same with top lane. They're just gonna be your fucking meat shields, man, and let the other people carry.
All these shitty junglers like TSM Bora's playing a Mumu every week. Master Splinter's playing Jarvan. Like fuck the meta.
Right. No, it's SBL, dude.
Yeah,
Right.
dude, because these shitty junglers, they can't play the meta. Like Master Splinter playing Jarvan every week.
2 weeks.
It's the SBL, it's not the pros. So play what you're comfortable with, and you'll do well.
Yeah, that's how you fix WCF.
Also,
I love that you call them WCF and not
5-2-13, 5-3-10 on Jarvan.
Dude, I'm just kidding. I love Jarvan. I'm a huge Jarvan fan. When Purple drew a Jarvan ban this last week, I was cheering.
Better.
Dude, it's because the second Jarvan game I went so greedy on my build. I was like pure
You
fucking
go greedy
damage,
every
dude.
Build.
No. It's legit. You go 2 damage items and then you should go tank. I just went fucking pure damage and I was like, and I blow my whole load and then I just die. And I was like, yeah, I fucked up. I should have went tanky.
You get in your own head. If you want to get better, that's how you do it. You gotta think about the team, Splinter.
No, it's just everyone else was not doing good, so I went damage, man. And it wasn't in my head. I'm fine.
He thinks about the team as
Behind
the I in team. All right.
No, and like playing with you last season, you did really well. This season, yeah, you've gone a little more hardcore on I'm gonna kill everyone.
Well, I'm playing Jarvan and Nocturne, man. And with Hecarim, he's a tanky guy that does damage. Like, come on, man. That's all I've been able to play.
I said this on a cast this week, but I want to say it again because I want to make sure that you hear it. I really appreciate memeonomics because until this split, I had never seen a shitty Hecarim. I'd only ever watched Wes play Hecarim, and like I got to watch him play Hecarim multiple times. It's like, wow, this guy just runs in and dies like an idiot. So that's what this champ can look like when it sucks. Thank you, memeonomics. I appreciate you for not being Master Splinter. So, did anyone have any other angles they want to tackle these bottom 3 teams from?
Nope.
I think we hit a pretty good amount of all of them. So, in that case, we can move on to our next topic. We're going to do a few positional points. And we're going to start with the best supports in the SBL. Because I feel like we haven't talked about the supports much. I know I haven't noticed the supports much because it's not like the old days where I'm watching, I know Tree and 30 and maybe Sasquatch if he's playing support are the best supports. Like, we have all these fucking new supports and it's really hard. Like, the supports are going to be the last person you notice on a team. But fortunately, we have 2 support mains in this channel. So I would like to see how my thoughts line up with them on who have been the best supports in the SBL so far.
Destiny, you go first.
Okay. So being a support main, I'm gonna be a little bit biased. With who's playing support now, I'm actually gonna say Sensory GG. He did go for $6 though. The second best for who's playing support, I'm gonna list myself, and that's at 75 cents. If Sasquatch or Evelite end up playing support, I think they would be better than me, and I don't think that's really a competition. I remember playing against Sasquatch last season, and he took the title of Thresh God away from me. And then going on after that, the supports
Toad, right?
kind of just get lost. Like Revan Toad had a really good game this last season, or really good game this last week. So I think he has the potential to do really well. And then when it comes to the rest of the teams, the supports, we haven't really paid much attention to them because it looks like they haven't been doing much. So I might be blowing smoke up my own ass, but without Sasquatch as support, I think I'm the second best at 75 cents.
Okay.
But if Hibbs goes support, which is also a possibility, I think he'd also be a better support. And
He's
this is after...
done a few games of support, and he hasn't done bad in the first like 15 minutes during lane phase, but then the team just kind of collapses. So
right, I'd like to add that support this season was like last season, where we have a whole bunch of people that list support as like their top or second best role, and this is what we end up dealing with. Like 30 could start the rest of the SBL league and probably be the second best support, if not first best.
Boy, I knew. Oh my god, I should have said I was gonna sub in. I almost played a game on Tuesday, guys, for that emergency sub situation. It almost happened. I was so excited. I was like, oh man, I was gonna bust out the Air Jordans, and it was gonna be a good time. But alas, we won't see that until maybe season 10. But I agree with your support picks there. Sensory GG, that Janna game was perfection, honestly, on
Yeah.
Janna. The best Janna up until this point was Greg, what's his name? God, someone.
Zaku?
Oh, Zaku.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's after his
man.
Leona got banned.
Yeah.
Mind you.
That's true. Yeah, and like he had some very impressive Janna games.
He also had some really bad ones.
He did, but
Yeah.
but the thing is, not a lot of other people in this league play a lot of the Janna. Just in general, I guess. This league has always preferred those more aggressive supports.
Tankier.
Yeah, tankier supports. But yeah, Sensory GG is very good. Phil Destiny, that guy's pretty good as well. I appreciate you pulling out the tanks though. Let's see. Are you almost exclusively?
It is exclusively tanks.
Tarek,
because-
Nautilus, Braum, and Nautilus too, which I didn't expect really anyone to play because I don't even see that. Like I don't see that in pros anymore. I don't see it even in solo queue. The very little that I keep up with that. So, I have to appreciate the creativity because a lot of people would say tanks are just weaker than those range mages right now in support. But I think they can work. As far as other supports go, the best supports, I think those might be Reventoad. I mean, is Reventoad a really good support, or is he a really good player on a team that's already stacked? That's
the hard question.
That is really the hard question.
All right, so here's how I look at Reventoad. I look at TSA and I ask myself, is this team stacked or not? And I don't think that's stacked. Like, Match Split is really good. Blab's pretty good. I don't think Swordandmace is that great. I don't think Bernie Sanders' bot is that great. And for me, when the team's 5-0, I don't think it can be all Match Split or Renai circulation. So that means Reventoad has to be a pretty big part of it. And I think he's been, like, the second best support, kind of quietly, because we haven't talked about the sports at all, like, on the casts, at least not my casts.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, when your team's that good, like, you have to have a third player on that team that's been, like, pretty decent. Like, Reventoad is the really obvious one to me.
I would disagree. I'd actually put Swordandmace above Reventoad. But
They have the same issue as lane phase has not been kind to him this season, but outside of lane phase, they've been doing really fucking good. In my opinion. I've been happy with them outside of lane phase.
Sword's like a worse version of Cruz to me.
Yeah, I mean, he does his role, though, for our team.
And then he plays against worse competition. Like, it works, but we'll get to your team later.
Alright. But, I mean, yeah, Toad is just, if he can improve, and we did, I thought we were going in the right direction, and we have. Lane phase has not been as bad. Like, the first 2 weeks were fucking terrible bot lane, like, lane phase. They still don't win lane phase, but they don't get, like, stomped, like, extremely hard. Which is all I ask for. So.
Yeah.
But we all agree
during team fighting, I think he's had great, like, fucking team fights. And something that you guys didn't realize is, because I think you guys said that he wasted it, but honestly, I was happy that he did it. Ari was ulting away, and that's when I, as Nocturne, ulted in. If I didn't kill him and he dashed away again, he would have instantly been stunned by the Leona ult. Obviously, he wasted it because it wasn't needed, but I thought that was great that he did that. Watching the VOD, I was happy that he did that because it was ensuring the kill and then ensuring mid lane, mid tower.
Yeah, this last game, I think I don't know if it was overperformed, but he did so much better than the rest of my expectations and opinions of him. And if he continues to perform, yeah, he could be better than me.
Otherwise, I think one of the people, you guys didn't say anything, is Zwerbs. I think Zwerbs has been doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, I just put him on my list, and I feel like we'd be doing the
He
league a
had one
disservice
bad
if we
Lulu
didn't
game where
talk
he
about
got-
him.
Yeah, he got stomped by our team. Like, he went 0-9-5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, he
guys.
did pretty decent.
Yeah.
Guys, remember that Diamond 280K that you want to give all that credit to Mighty Wolf? Like, every one of you was like, oh, he's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that guy's Diamond 2. You know why he's not smashing lane in every single game?
Because Zwerbs.
Yeah.
If Zwerbs is one of the best supports in the league, the Mighty Wolf is going, like, full camera in lane and getting kills every week, or gigantic leads, which has not happened.
A fair point. That's fair. That's a good
Zwerbs
argument.
and the Mighty Wolf can't both be really fucking good. Either the Mighty Wolf is the
Maybe
biggest
he's just a
underachiever you've ever
shitty-
known, or Zwerbs is kind of meh.
Whoa. No, you're.
Well, maybe he just isn't, like, very confident in lane phase,
I
and he
don't
doesn't
give a
want to go
fuck.
aggressive.
Yes,
No,
yes,
I'm just
that
saying, maybe he
Diamond
needs
too.
direction, and he needs to be told what to do in lane phase by the AD, and be like, we're doing this, go in and do this right now, and then...
If you're a support
Maybe
and
that's
you
not
need the AD
happening.
to do that, you're not a good support.
Yeah. And
Like, the
I've
support
actually played
has
that
to know
role.
how to play. And
I've played that
does it-
role as a support where you have to tell the AD carry what to do, and I've played the role where you're the AD carry telling the support what to do, and that is super taxing to play as. And the whole thing, the delay, the expectation of go in now, and if you have to tell them everything to do, it doesn't work. Like,
Let me make an analogy.
Yes,
As
it's
a,
how your micro
now
skills work, so...
I'm an Overwatch pro. I've played with people in Overwatch who are like, tell me when I should ult. Tell me when I should go in. That's what it's like to play ADC with a support that needs total direction. I'm not saying Zwerbs is like that. I don't know. I don't know the dynamic of their bot lane. I don't know either of the players that well. Zwerbs, like, gets the job done. But...
Yeah, and that's my ranking. Look at the league. Swerves is in the top half of supports in this league.
Oh, you've got him fourth. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've got him at the bottom, the four supports that started every game.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean,
Because the other two teams, they have Hooker Sets and Hibs who both started twice, with Black Paladin being the fifth. And then Slim Boozy at 3 and Kiss Shot at 2. So, I guess...
Right.
yeah, and I guess these numbers we're talking just about general best supports. They sort of ignore the numbers here as far as like hard rankings go. But Zwerbs, his stat line in really just the death category is so much lower than him as a player 2 seasons ago, and I think that's an improvement. His warding numbers are really good. I check warding numbers like pretty much every game, and his warding's very good, a lot better than I expected as well. But yeah, his laning phase is like really weak. Watching him play Nami in lane like hurts me as someone who really enjoys Nami. Like literally, you should be like running out of mana just spamming W on their face. It's that easy. It's broken. Oh man.
So,
You should message him,
for
dude.
my list, I have pretty much the same list that you have, 30, except for I switched Toad with Destiny.
Okay.
And that's purely because I'm biased, he's on my team, but I think he's a great team fighter.
yeah.
Great
I was
team
on your
fighter.
team last season, so betrayed.
Yeah. The dagger in the back.
So, yeah, I'm not going to rank this past the top 2. It's Sensory GG, and then it's Rev and Toad.
Oh.
And the other supports have been really lackluster.
Can I just point out that Camera was on all of your disappointed lists, and I made the other 3 for best support.
That's because there's only 4 supports these guys are picking
Yeah.
from,
See,
too.
the thing is, did you say at the start of this discussion, Swift, that this is like the exact opposite of every SBL season, or just like
It's so weird.
Yeah.
The SBL is like for years now. It's been a support dominant league,
right?
and it's been like so strange. Like there was this gigantic support turnover. Suddenly, like 30's done. Tree was done last split. Like we just have a bunch of people that aren't playing support. Like Rasash is playing AD carry or jungle.
That's
like,
a big disservice. Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
injustice in the
I think
support community right there.
Destiny's playing his worst league in 2 years.
Oh.
That's why,
Oh.
like, these guys are like, oh, Destiny's doing good. No, he's not. I watched you. You used to be good. You're
Oh.
not now. This is the worst. This is the worst SPL season you've had since your first and maybe ever. Okay, there, I said it.
Oh.
Oh, actually, I don't know if I could not disagree with that. That might be true, but I'd have to go back.
You used to be solid. Like now, like there's been so many times on these casts where I'm like, oh, Destiny it dies clearing a ward. Oh, Destiny tries to engage 1v5 as the support, but then like camera cuts away or something happens where I can't go off on that full rant. So I'm doing it now. You're not as good as you used to be. What the fuck, man? I like you. We casted an entire Overwatch league together. I was gonna talk you up all the time. And then you're just that backpack full of gold with a hole in it in the enemy team's jungle. They're just clicking you like it's a minion war for 350 gold. Have you
Rip.
tried not doing that?
So one thing I'd like to point out is, so yes, I understand that, and I have been dying more this season. I'm trying to save my team more, but if you look at what it comes down to for the amount of assists and support has, I'm up there with Sensory GG, and the next after that is Swerves. So when it comes to playmaking, I feel like I'm doing better. Yeah, I still have the silly mistakes of I overextend or I get caught out trying to save people, and I should honestly just let people die. But yeah, I can completely accept that this might be a worse season than the previous ones.
Yeah.
But it hurts me. It hurts me deep, Swift.
Oh, well, you know,
As long as it hurts you.
you might have high total assists count, but I think assists per game, those other two got you beat pretty wildly. But you had a couple games here that had tons of assists. But I don't know. We'll see. And also, you're playing tanks. Keep that in mind. That you're gonna die. You're gonna die a little bit more playing that.
Yeah.
So.
All right, best ADs.
I think, yeah, that's a good transition. So this next topic is, I talked about this with somebody the other day. If you have been around the SBL for a long time, in the very beginnings, it was an 80 carry heavy league. It was like by far the best overall position, top to bottom. There was a point in time where, like seasons 2 through 4, when it was a 4-team league, where basically every season we thought all 480 carries were pretty good and like the best half of the league. And then the 80 carries went to shit. And I thought this season, a few weeks ago, I was talking to somebody about this, and I kind of realized, I think 80 carry is the best position in the SBL again, and that's really crazy. I haven't felt that way in a long time. So, I'm curious if we all agree, is 80 carry the best position in the league, first of all? Just top to bottom.
Like, for like who's
It's the
playing
most
80,
stacked.
right? It's the most stacked.
It's the most stacked position. Like
So
talent
we're kind
level
of merging the most stacked and best ADs right now.
Yes.
That's fine. That gets 2 out of. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think
Sorry, I didn't tell.
A lot of
I didn't
really good
notice this
plays.
was 2 things.
Yeah,
on
it's fine.
Cody's agenda.
We'll just-
This was meant to be one topic. My bad. I'm a bad host.
You guys fine.
Well, I mean, you can disagree 30 if you. I think mid lane is also pretty decent.
That's
this
what I was
season
gonna
as
say.
well.
I was gonna say mid is also in a potentially weird spot where Thrifty and
Blab
Blab
and Cruisemaster.
and Cruisemaster to a little extent, but Blab and Thrifty alone are like they raise the skill ceiling of that whole role pretty high.
Yeah, but
I think ADs are still higher. With
Salvo's
Salvo's been
Mighty
actually the
Wolf.
best AD.
Yeah, ADs
Salvo
are better
has been
though.
the best AD this
the
season.
mid is, I think, you could argue that it's second for sure in my mind.
Okay,
Maybe
let's
closer.
let's look at the bottom 3 at both of those positions. So, our starting mid laners across the board is Cruisemaster, Thrifty Senpai, Renai Circulation, Sinister Beyblade, now Memenomics, and
mark?
Avalites. And our starting 80 carries, I'm doing this slow because I think 30 might be writing these down on the stream.
Yep.
Okay. Our starting 80 carries, we've got Salvo, the Mighty Wolf, Bernie Sanders bot, Gabe O'Neill, Hammer, and Sasquatch.
Yeah, on paper, 80 carry is the most stacked. Based on performance, I'd say not really. Just because I think it's half good, half bad for both 80 carry
well-
or 80 carry and mid lane. But yeah, on paper, like even Evolite, if he were to play 80 carry, I think would be one of the best
Yeah.
for the league.
Yeah. AD is definitely more stacked.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at
On paper,
Sasquatch.
it's more stacked. Yeah.
Well, I think it's not just on paper. I think the 80 carries as a whole are, if you add all 6 of those together and divide by 6, I think the 80 carries better than the mids.
Yep. I think we can
Okay,
all agree
so-
on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst player of those 12 listed, it's Beyblade, right? Like, by far.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy, what?
If he doesn't get
Oh,
Katarina,
wait, no,
yes.
no. I have to disagree. I think Memenomics is worse than Beyblade.
But those
Sorry,
are
meme.
those are the worst two players on those two lists, right?
Yes.
Now we're talking strictly SBL here.
Yes.
This season, yes. Then, yes.
Because that Beyblade's never going to play Katarina.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
That's really... I think that's what defines it for me, is the worst two players on these two lists are Memenomics and Beyblade.
Right, in their mids. I mean, you definitely got to say Bernie is definitely the worst AD of the group.
Yeah, but after Bernie, like, those other five, like...
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
doing pretty damn well.
Yeah, I'd like to redact my statement. You are completely right, Swift. That it's not just on paper; it's in reality. Because I think
it's
by
really
role,
crazy.
Bernie Sanders is better than those other two.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely make an argument for it. Like,
oh no, he's impactful still in team fights.
yeah, he does what he needs to do. And when you're arguing whether like Bernie Sanders bot's the weakest of the AD carries or it's Cameron or Sasquatch, for as much as we've shit on him, like they've still been. When you look at like the jungle and look at who the worst junglers are, if the worst if Wang was as good at the jungle as Bernie Sanders or Sasquatch or Cameron as an AD carry, it would change the fucking league.
Right.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if imagine if that list had AJ0 on it? How fucking great those AD carries would be.
It'd probably be the same.
Yeah, well, because you'd replace the Mighty Wolf with AJ0.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So are we ranking these ADCs?
Fuck it, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Number
I gotta
one,
pee.
Salvo.
You guys go first. I'll be back.
Right.
Failed Destiny Salvo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number two, like even though he was on my disappointed list, I think he does really well, and I think it's the Mighty Wolf. And then by raw talent, I think Cammer. But then after that, it's really difficult between Gabe O'Neill and Sasquatch. So I'm just gonna say it's a tie because I won't be able to decide objectively.
Okay.
All right. I'm so excited for this. I've been waiting. So, after how last week went, I got to give first to Salvo. Salvo's been the best AD carry. I hate that, but it's true. But I'm going to get contentious here with number two. The second best AD carry in the 5 games has been Gabe O'Neill.
Yep. There's
it.
the contention.
I fucking believe it. I was talking about before last week with, I think it was with you off stream 30, and you were like, I haven't seen what you've been seeing. Well, that's because you're not a fucking AD carry. You tried it. It was bad. But I'm not a bad AD carry. I'm a great AD carry, and I know what to look for in AD carry play. And Gabe fucking O'Neill is the only bright spot on one of the worst SBL teams of all time. You guys know, like, when you're playing any other position in the game, if your team sucks, you can still make a few flashy plays. You can't do that in AD carry. When your entire team is feeding, when they're dropping 4 broken bags of gold in the enemy jungle 24/7, like as an AD carry, you get nothing. But I watch Gabe, and he just does little things here, little things there, to try his hardest to be all right. It's not enough because his team sucks.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there, but I want to read his score lines.
I don't give a shit about his. I have them up.
It's 132, 665, 348, 757, and 020. So terribly negative. That line.
Yeah, but that whole
for
team's
two of
been
those
pretty
games.
bad.
But for an 05
if you look at the early
team,
part of the game,
for an 05
he's been
team,
doing pretty decent.
If you look at the score lines of his teammates, I'm amazed he hasn't fed more.
Yeah. 020 is like an impossible score line to get as ADC.
Right.
No, I'm saying that's like a good thing though. Like honestly,
Yeah.
on a game like that, you should be like 010.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, I don't know how he doesn't do so much worse. Like I asked myself this question.
But that was a really low kill count game. Both teams played really safe.
That's true. But
Like,
I mean,
the
even
thing is,
all of his
I
deaths
look
are
at the
pretty
way-
low though.
I look at the way these 5 games have gone, or 5 weeks of the season have gone, and I ask myself, if Gabe O'Neill and a Mighty Wolf flip teams, would Kick-Ass be a better team? I think there's a chance they would be, as crazy as that sounds.
I think they would.
I think Gabe would just know how to like be the second to Thrifty, and I think there's a good chance they won an extra game. I've just seen so many little things out of him. I think he is playing so well, and he's not getting any credit for it because his team blows the whole goddamn bag of dicks. But I've noticed Gabe is a very excellent player.
Yeah,
I wish I
and I
drafted
played
him
with him last season. He does a really well job. He plays a little bit passively, which is sometimes necessary as an AD carry. But in this season, Salvo is succeeding really well because he's an aggressive AD carry. So it just might be the environment that the AD carries thrive in this season are polarized, so he can't perform well with his team.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah. No, it's a really good argument, and I might have to reevaluate my list. I think he's gonna make it on there, but yeah, I don't think he's number 2 though.
No, I don't think he's number 2 either.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Mighty Wolf,
Okay.
and then there's a gap. I think the top 3 are in a slight league. Like I don't want to say they're in a league of their own because I think these top 5 are all fairly good.
Wait, who's your 4th?
So 3 is the Mighty Wolf. My 4th is gonna be Cammer. Like he's shown lower lows than Sasquatch, but his higher highs have been high enough to balance that out. And then my 5th is Sasquatch, and my last is Bernie Sanders.
I think Bernie Sanders has actually done more for overall the team than a few of these guys. I'm not saying he's a better AD than them.
I think
he is definitely the worst, but in a team atmosphere and what he's done this season, and I'm this season.
He's had a better, he's accomplished more. But if you put any of those 5 AD carries on your team would be better.
Well, yeah. The thing is, though, like, Bernie does exactly what he's told to do, and I fucking love it, because I don't expect him to do anything, like, more than that, and sometimes he surprises me and does. I'm not saying that he's better than those guys, because he's not, but he's definitely a team player, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at scorelines to try to help remember what it was like, and man, like, he was so good at MF. Holy shit. These are some real. I remember those games. They were really, really good. But I didn't even rag on him for his Twitch first pick. I totally forgot to do that. How did he do that? How did he do so well on Twitch? I guess
he had 2 MVP candidates on his team. He went 5-5 on Twitch, dude. Let's not. He won on Twitch. Let's not say he did so well on Twitch.
I think the team comp he was going against, like the way the draft went out, I think it was very, very risky, and I'm surprised that he pulled it off. And he didn't, obviously he didn't hard carry like Imp or somebody on Twitch, but he did much better than I expected on a champion like Twitch.
Let me offer you an opposing perspective. Renai Circulation 5-2, Master Splinter 7-1, Swordandmace 8-5. I think he just accidentally like hopped in the Uber and the Uber was like, "We're going to the next." He was like, "Sure."
Oh. I love that analogy. He hopped in the Uber, we're going to the Nexus, and he's like, "Wait, you guys, I'm dying," and it's like, "We're carrying, leave us alone."
All right, yeah. Splinter.
Yeah, I got Salvo number 1, got Wolf second, and then it comes hard because I'm biased. I want to put Bernie because of, and this is strictly the season. I feel like he's done more than Cammer because he's obviously on a team that has won twice. But he fucking shit on him too in lane, so it's kind of like hard to do that. But I'm gonna do it, and then I'd put Cammer.
Okay, that's fair. Phil Destiny, who was your 4th support?
My 4th support I didn't list because I couldn't pick one, so I'm okay leaving it blank.
Okay. Well, so your list is very similar to Swift's, Splinter, except for the Gale O'Neal thing, which I agree that it shouldn't be second, but I think I'm gonna actually put Gale O'Neal.
Yeah!
At boy. There you go.
My boy!
Yeah, he...
At 4th?
What's his
that's
argument?
where I put him.
What's his, Oh, yeah, that is where you put him, yeah.
We take what
I think he hasn't done bad. It's just, when you're on the last team, it's hard for me to do it.
The thing is, though, on Tuesday, I did tell Swift, like, I don't believe that at all. But his argument is very compelling. has evidence, so I will agree with it. 3 would be. Well, actually, let's start with number 1. Best ADC this season. Salvo. I have to say Salvo, don't I?
I mean, is it really a competition?
I'm trying. Oh fuck.
Because how much Salvo's been targeted and done well, like teams can't shut him down. He might be the best Salvo we've seen.
No, it's
season.
It's true. It's absolutely true. There we go. That's Salvo number 1. Bernie Sanders 3rd. No, I can't do that. Or Sasquatch? No, stop playing ADC. Okay, I gotta go. Yeah, the Mighty Wolf and then Camera. Yeah.
Which order? Because it's important.
It is important. Now that I think, no, I gotta put Gabe O'Neill on top of that. That's true.
Yes!
There we
the
go.
Game
There we
train
go.
is hit. Fucking. Do you know what the speed of light is? Because that's what the Game train's going at right now.
3 times 10 to the 8th meters per second.
That's how fast Gabe O'Neill is running the TSM's roster.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Fucking ruined it, dude.
it's
Now he's just gonna completely shit the bed and play like crap.
yeah.
No, dude, I don't care. I'll fucking make excuses for him. I'll play him as support for every time he dies.
There you go.
Okay, so I will say this. Salvo, yeah, by far, I think we all agree by our placement of Salvo here, but he is playing at a very high and consistent level of ADC. However, I think the Mighty Wolf can play ADC better than Salvo, and he's gonna beat him one game. It's gonna tilt him. Salvo's gonna lose the season.
Oh,
Nah,
interesting.
the thing is, Salvo could be like, if you beat me, I'll chop my nuts off, and then you could beat him and be like, dude, I was just kidding, and he'd already be over it.
Yeah.
Salvo doesn't tilt because like he could mentally excuse anything. You'd be like, Salvo, like, you killed the president, and he'd just be like, I did? Yeah. Oh, that sounds awful. He probably deserved it. And he'd be like,
That is such a Salvo thing to say. You got it. That's a spot on impersonation. Oh god.
Alright, I think that settles that.
Can I add one thing before we move
Yeah,
into how to
please.
beat TSA?
Please.
So during these streams, we talk a lot about the best AD carries, the best people in their lane, the best teams, and then we obviously cover the biggest disappointments. It's not necessarily bad to not be on any of these lists, because it means you're either doing well enough but not becoming noticeable, or just not standing out too much, in which case if you play next season you'll still get drafted and you'll still do well. So yeah, we might circle jerk the best 80 carries right now, and Salvo's going off in Twitch, but for the people that are doing well, like Phoenix Blaze and Frisky Senpai for Pot of Greed, like Phoenix Blaze got an MVP and he was considered by many to be a bench this season. And then we have other people just on other teams doing super well all over the place, like Cruise Master going for 25 cents. So just because you're not talked about during this stream doesn't mean you're not impacting the SBL, and doesn't mean you won't be impactful next season. So I just wanted to get that out, because I know as someone coming into the league, you might want to get talked about, but sometimes not getting talked about is completely okay.
Yeah, I actually kind of want to add to that a little bit. And this applies to all sports. There's a difference between production and performance. Production is like literally like how many yards you got, and performance is how good you played. And when you're like on a team with good players, everyone might assume that your production is just like a side effect of your teammates' performance. And if you like to win, that's a good thing, because maybe your performance is better than we realized. And then you could just be like a cheap player in the next draft, and you can have another good performance that helps your teammates' production. And you just keep winning until we finally realize you were good. That's great.
Fair
I
enough.
never got that, man. Everyone was like, oh, Swift's going to be a god. I was never a god. Fuck, man, I had to be the best.
That's true. So I mean, in that analogy, like
Exactly,
the
and
role
with that-
players are the ones who bring the production every week.
Well, especially in League of Legends, like it's really hard to tell where the line between the role player ends and like the really solid player begins.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like you could be a role player, but like Paul Belter on CLG, he was a really fucking good role player, and then he went to Immortals, and he was still a really fucking good role player until this year when he like, gave up and quit. But
Yeah.
Anyways, fuck pole belter. That's what I'm getting at.
Yep.
So, my transition into our next set of topics, which is gonna start with how to beat TSA, who you may have heard are 5-0, and then we're gonna try to figure out who can beat TSA. So let's start with how to beat TSA. Did you guys know?
I've got some early examples, but I'll let you finish first.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you guys know that they have played Vel'Koz in the mid lane once and then Ziggs in the 4 games since?
Yep.
Yep.
Some fucking Splinter with the yup. Holy
Well,
shit.
good. Wes remembers his games. Wes remembers every game he's ever won, which is a lot of games.
Well, and you don't even have to ban the Jarvan, but the teams are picking really squishy champions into Jarvan, and it's Master Splinter. Like, you're gonna get dunked on if you're away from your team. So either pick a tankier team, or ban Jarvan, and then just ban the Ziggs and ban Vel'Koz.
Oh, and so what are the bans?
You don't even have to ban Jarvan. Just ban Ziggs and ban Vel'Koz. And I don't know, like, Blab likes to see an entire team before he feels comfortable picking something. So just, you don't even have to ban Ziggs right away. Just ban Vel'Koz right away, because he's going to want to play that. And then either force them to pick something early for Ziggs and then counter it if you feel like you can counter it. Maybe you're not good enough to counter it, in which case you just ban it in the first 3.
Yep, no, to me, this isn't entirely about bans. Like, you first rotation ban Vel'Koz and Ziggs, because you just don't give them the chance. Those picks just make too many things go for that team. But more importantly, it's what you do inside the game. Do you know what you do to beat TSA, guys? Master Splinter, don't listen to this. I don't want you to know how to counter your counter, okay, guys? Camp the shit out of Swordandmace, man. Like,
Didn't they do that last week?
everyone talks about him like he's fucking season 4 deft in team fights. He's good in team fights, but he's not like just some god who's gonna solo carry every game no matter what he plays, man. He just he wants to feed his dick off. All you gotta do is come up there and take it from him. Like, that's what it's like watching him in laning phase, man. And we saw it last week where Wang gets 2 kills on him so early. But the problem is the kiss shot has no idea how to press that lead. I was like going nuts on the cast about it. Or like nuts in my head while casting. Because like Sword should have been so far behind. He had died twice and he wasn't down a single CS to Kiss Shot. And I was like, well, this game's over because they got ganks and Wang's not going to turn his lead into anything. And Kiss Shot didn't turn his advantage into anything. But like, Splinter is not going to gank for Swordandmace. He never does. Ever. They've been teammates for a season and a half now. I don't know if Swordandmace has ever been ganked for once. Just camp the shit out of Swordandmace and like, let him never get into the game. You ban those 2 champs. You camp Swordandmace. That's
one game
how you beat TSA.
pops out.
I'm not saying that's a guarantee to beat TSA, but that's the plan.
One game pops out where I did gank for Sword and Mace. We shit on Purple Pickle Pie. How's Evelyn?
Evelyn's cheating, dude.
Alright. Fair enough.
Was it that to me is, I'm not saying it's a guarantee to work, but that's like the thing I don't think has been tried hard enough is you pick a lane bully top lane, you camp the shit out of Sword Mason, you see what happens. And with your 3rd ban, you either take away your least favorite West champ, or you take away Bernie Sanders' bot like Misfortune that he's played a ton. And then in your 2nd rotation of bans, you just take away like the most popular picks you guys play that haven't been picked to their lanes yet. But to me, like,
Let's give it a shot, man. I mean,
like, it's not easy.
We haven't seen it yet.
Well, we saw it last season in the finals. Purple shit on Sword 3 games in a row, and you guys got 0-3.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how more teams aren't don't remember that, because your team, like, you guys are so similar to that team you had last season. Like, you went 5-0 last season in the regular season.
I would agree. For back-to-back teams, last season and this season, TSA looks like Fizz on your Jace.
Yeah, you just have you have a better version of your mid laner. Because I do think Renai right now is better than Evo was last season. But it's like he's still got a very similar playstyle, and you've got a similar bot lane.
Abe O'Neal and Destiny?
Yeah, I mean, Revan Toad he's been playing tanks more than not. He can play mages, but he's played tanks in 3 of the 5 games. Gabe O'Neill is probably better than Bernie Sanders, but like that balances out Renai being better than Avalite. I think Revan Toad was probably better than you,
That's fine.
but
Yeah.
I think Renai is enough better than both of the bot laners. But it's like, to me, it's such a similar team. Just copy what got them 0-3 in the finals. I can't believe more teams haven't done it really hard until Wang did it this week. But then they got the start, and then they just executed poorly after that. Like, it was 100% Wang's fault they lost that game.
It also depends on like what's at least like playable, because champions that were playable last season are not as playable right now.
Yeah, but if you like,
Well, you can find other champions.
if you're
to
watching
do
the pro
something
season,
similar.
though, a lot of lane bullies are coming back into the meta top lane.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, that also take that into effect. I'm not gonna say too much because we're talking about my team. I'm not gonna.
Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say a word if I
Yeah,
were
don't
you,
dig
like,
your own grave.
Yeah.
But like, to me, that's where you start. And if like maybe that happens a few weeks in a row and your team still doesn't lose, well, then you reevaluate. But if I were drafting, like if I were playing your team in week 6, we would ban first rotation Vel'Koz, Ziggs, something we don't want to play against, and we'd pick a lane bully top lane. Probably ban the Swain, but
Well, and he's gonna play Swain or Nautilus.
Gonna give me a
'cause
Hecarim
that's
again?
all we've seen so far.
I don't give a shit about your Hecarim, dude.
Good. Don't ban it, people.
Yeah, don't ban it. Don't ban it. His Hecarim's not that much better than his Nocturne or his Draven. And
Do
he
you want
wants
to see a
to think it
Memenomics
is.
Hecarim?
That'd be funny, dude.
He just had to throw that
We're
one
gonna
in.
take
didn't
his
ya?
Hecarim, dude. I'm gonna pick the Hecarim. He won't be able to pick it because I picked it. And he feeds.
No. I meant, did you want to see a Memenomics level Hecarim out of Splinter? Not the other way
Yes.
around.
That's physically impossible. Wes is one of the top 10 Hecarims in North America. Memenomics is meme in his name.
I'm just saying because you shit on Memenomics Hecarim, so I didn't know if you expected that the same thing could happen, or if it's just that...
I've been flashing Wes's Hecarim since 2013, dude. I know, like, it's good.
Interesting.
So, did anyone
Alright.
else have any other ways they wanted to attack
Yeah.
TSA?
So
I
I,
can
I'm
read
pretty-
30s on stream, and I completely agree with it.
yeah. So I mean, obviously, you're not gonna say anything.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So on stream, yeah, I put proactive early. Don't fight them. Fair 5v5, like in a fair 5v5 situation. So for what I've noticed in the past, and this is more anecdotal for my personal experience playing against them than more than anything, but I don't think a team can go into the game saying like, okay, we'll play safe lanes and we'll just play real far back, and we're not gonna let Splinter get fed. I don't think that works. I think you will find a way to like get some kind of advantage in the early game. Like just you personally, your team overall though,
Yeah.
your weakest face is the early game. Like there's been some fumbles laning wise and maybe getting caught on stuff, but it's very few and far between. But if anything was the weak part of your game, it's the early part of it. And I think the teams that are proactive, like where they want to do their own thing, like they set up plays on whatever side of the map they want to do. Basically, it's like a race. I think that's the best way to do it. Like the enemy jungler against Splinter needs to just try to do as much as he does, but don't try to fight him. Don't do any of that. Just do your own game. And then when it gets into the mid game, don't fight them in a fair 5v5, because this team has shown time and time again that their movement as a team, as a unit, in a team fight scenario is just like, it's way better than everybody else. They are gelling on a whole nother level. I don't know why, but they are. So I don't think you should go in and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna pick this team fight comp. And if you go 20 minutes and you guys are even in gold, I think you're gonna lose that game 9 out of 10 times against TSA, because I think they know how to close out. They're just better fighters. So
Actually, that I know anecdotal and all, but that's just proactive early. Don't fight them fair 5v5. That's a really good point that I didn't even think of. But a hallmark of every Splinter team that has ever been in the SBL has been to be better at team fighting and to hard engage on the enemy team. But if you can execute a really good split push, I think that would be really effective versus TSA. Like,
Yeah,
if
you just have to control the macro game better.
Yeah, and you have to be like respect the fuck out of their engage like
Right.
5v4 in your mid lane if they're pushing on you or whatnot. But like if you can get big with a top laner or a mid laner, there's a split pusher. I don't think anyone on that team is really well suited to answer a split pusher. I get the impression that Renai normally isn't playing split push answer champions, and Sword is a pretty kind of reliant on the shot calling type of top laner. I actually think like going for a 1-4 or even a 1-3-1 comp could work really well, but there would be a really high burden of execution. And if you fuck up, you're gonna get riggedy wrecked, son.
Yeah. I can definitely agree with that.
There you go, guys. Confirmed on stream. TSA gonna go 5-5 this season.
But who's gonna beat them?
And that's our next topic. Holy crap. Who can beat TSA? So, we all agree it's probably going to be the second or the third place team.
They definitely
really crazy
have
they
the
want to
best
say.
chance.
Uh,
five.
depends.
I
I'm gonna look at the schedule.
I don't think Kick-Ass really stands a chance, because everything that they can do, I feel like Splinter's team does better. Even with the Mighty Wolf on AD carry, I think just as a unit, they don't really have a split push potential coming out of Kick-Ass. And I think they focus on that 5v5 fight as well, so I don't think Kick-Ass can beat TSA, but I do think Coffee House, Pot of Greed, or Gruden's QB Camp has it if Gruden's QB Camp changes up their lanes. But that's the only way. And Pot of Greed is iffy at best. That's Pot of Greed on a good day and TSA on a bad day. That happens.
Mm-hmm. So TSA's schedule, week 5, OTB. Okay, well, then they play Pot of Greed. I was actually hoping the Pot of Greed matchup was later, like either week 9 or 10, because I don't know if that's gonna go well. It's like just right now, because I feel like POG is still figuring out the whole new lineup thing. But
Like a teenager, they're discovering themselves.
They're discovering themselves, yeah. And I think once you guys discover yourselves, I think you guys have a pretty good shot at taking them down. But that's week 7, so March 28th at the end of the month. We'll see. I'm optimistic, but otherwise, I think POG and then the other two, like Kick-Ass and Coffee House, can all beat them.
You do think Kick-Ass can beat them?
Yeah, I do. In a weird reality where. Oh God! Never
How
mind.
about instead of who can beat them, who has the best chance of beating them? Coffee House or Kick-Ass?
Coffee House.
Coffee House.
Real.
Salvo and Mad Cow are the best disruptors for that. And Cruise Master, I think.
Yeah,
just
it's
overall.
I'm looking at lane matchups and yeah,
They're your opposite. They're your anti-TSA.
Yeah, exactly. And Destiny, you said that Kick-Ass is just like like the same thing as TSA, like diet, though, right?
Right.
Like they're like the light version
Yep.
of them. Yeah, the more I look at the lineups, I'm like, man, that's pretty true. And they do try to win in the same ways, but they just do it in a less like decisive and overpowering way. So yeah, I take back Kick-Ass. Definitely not in the top 2 that can beat them. It's Coffee House and POG.
You think Pot of Greed has a better chance of beating them than Kick-Ass?
Purple Pickle Pie versus Swordandmace. You would have to agree with me that
No,
I don't
single
think-
lane can decide the
Greed
game.
is like a died version of Coffee House, as 30 put it.
The thing is, Kick-Ass. Okay, so we also agreed that TSA's bot lane is pretty bad laning phase. I trust the Mighty Wolf to get things done in that bot lane, and like, especially if we're talking like say a best of 5. I definitely think the Mighty Wolf has a good chance of just getting things done in that lane. And then on top of that, they have Thrifty Senpais to just neutralize Renai's circulation. Like, there's no other mid laner that's going to put the pressure on Renai that Thrifty is. There's a chance that thing they've always counted on in all of their wins, suddenly it goes even or worse, slightly negative, because Thrifty's fucking thrifty. Sure, they have Scotch, one of like the worst top lane of all time, but they have those other 2 lanes to just, do it right.
Yeah, looking at the scorelines, Kick-Ass did well against TSA. But they ultimately still lost, and I think that's just what happens with Kick-Ass. Like they do well, but I don't think they can pull out the win.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Also with the lineup issue, I'm concerned about Coffee House for Dub Jum availability. So
Did he get the
he'll
job,
be fine, dude.
or was that just a off week for him?
well, I won't speak on it too much. But
Okay, that's fine.
I think them getting the win this week was pretty miraculous. So yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, you could tell that they were a worse team without Dub Drum.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Like, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Dub Drum's not there for these big ticket games, then a loss is a loss, and a win is a win. So there you
But
go.
if Dub Drum is there for those big ticket games, that's a huge thing for Coffee House because they have the only jungler in the entire league that can come close to Master Splinter's level.
Yeah, with Dub Drum they have a chance of beating TSA. Without Dub Drum, doesn't happen. I don't think.
Oh, I agree with that. No
Yeah.
team is
Yeah.
beating TSA with subs. But I guess to make like an LCS comparison, TSA to me is FlyQuest. We've already seen that.
Oh,
in the
so
past.
okay, so it's already been solved because Flycoast is getting
Well-
solved right now in LCS.
Not necessarily, but like we already have seen them at their best. I can't see TSA getting more than a few steps better. But I could see some of these other teams getting a lot better, especially Kick-Ass. Like that's the thing to me is Kick-Ass. If I imagine every team in this league on their absolute best day, Kick-Ass is just a step up on everybody.
So I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit. I don't think TSA can get any better. I think they're playing at their best potential right now, with their weaknesses that they have.
TSA?
Yeah.
That's what I said, right?
Oh, you said it
You-
slightly better, but he's
Well,
going with a hard stance of this is the best we've seen. It's gonna be the best we get.
I
Right.
meant that more like philosophically, every team can improve. Like, I don't think they can improve much, but I think literally every team that's ever existed always has like that slight room to grow, no matter how
There
good
is.
they are. That's what I meant. I don't think TSA can like take a step like up another tier or anything.
Because, what is it, Season 5 for Salt Shaker? They had, like, we had sort of the same issue where our early game was not, like, spectacular. And since we had, like, 3 weeks to take off before the finals, we practiced every Tuesday, and we played multiple games every Tuesday, and we improved our early game, and we did extremely well in the finals. Oh, there's always improvements that you can make, even if it's a small improvement.
That's true. Yeah. Something interesting, because you threw out the phrase like absolute best. If all of these lineups were playing at their absolute best, and I'm gonna stick with what I said, Gruden's QB camp is the best team in the league.
Yeah, I agree.
That's retarded. They have Slim Boozy, Spiffy, and Kishot. Okay, let me tell you this. Last season, I had a team with Kishot and Spiffy on it. Kishot and Spiffy, if you're watching this VOD, please Control W. That's the hotkey to close your current tab, okay? Please just hit that.
Or
Okay?
Alt F4.
Or Alt F4. Hit the power button on your computer.
Pull the
Put a-
plug on your power for the
Put
entire
a bullet
house.
in your head. I don't care. I just don't want you to hear what I'm about to say, okay? These guys fucking suck, dude. Like, okay, that was a little exaggerated. Actually, I've actually been really impressed with Spiffy in a few points this season. But these guys are like they're definitely like the worst quarter of starters in the whole league. And Slim Boozy seems okay. We haven't seen. I think he's played twice. I'm gonna look this up. I want to get this right. He's actually started 3 times, but no matter what happens, like this team has to start 2 of those 3. They are not superstars, and Wang, Rasash, or Evo, none of them on their best day are a total superstar. The sky is not the limit.
All
for this
3 of
team.
them together, though, and these guys, what is Spiffy a rookie? One of these is a rookie. Are these
Slim
all
Boozy's a rookie. Slim Boozy's a rookie. Kishot and Spiffy both played last split on my team.
okay? For the amount of experience they've had in the league, I think they're improving, and I think they can definitely be role players to the other 3 if they play at their absolute best. Like we're talking Wang Prime, or Sasquatch Prime support, Evolite, just Evolite. I think Evolite's playing as good as plays. So.
And I already
that's
think
fine.
that
Yeah.
Kishot is better than Swordandmace. Sorry.
Okay, but if everyone's playing at the
whoa,
if everyone
whoa.
if everyone's playing at their like top play, then you're gonna be taking Swordandmace, who's fucking 1v1ing everybody last season. So I don't know if I agree with all of your guys' opinions on that, because if you're putting everyone on their best,
the top laner is probably going to lose. The top laner of Rune's QB camp is going to lose to Swordmace. I do agree with that. At their best, but with Swordmace right now and Kishot at his best, I feel like just because you don't roam top much, whoever the jungler ends up being, simply going top with Kishot ends up getting kills on Swordmace.
Yeah, but the enemy jungler is Master Splitter. The enemy jungler is Master Splitter. You can't just say, like, Swordandmace gets ganked and Master Splitter doesn't gank that guy if we're talking about everyone at their best.
Yeah, but Sasquatch and Evelite bottom lane is going to, at their best, is going to dump on Isona Carry or Revan Toad and Bernie Sanders bot.
If they're playing their best, they're playing like little bitches and not dying to him, though. Like, theoretically.
Sasquatch last season, he was a hook god. So I don't know if you can survive that lane.
Right, so it's hard to determine that stuff when you say they're playing at their best, because what is their best? You got to put that on a scale, and yeah, obviously you're saying this player's better, which I would agree. Like, Brecht is better than Riven Toad at support, but it's like maybe his best play is him just not getting caught out.
Right.
It's one of those things, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of room for our team to improve, so I disagree with you guys.
That's fair. You thought they would be third in the Trunk Power rankings, and you thought K-King would be second. Obviously, you thought your team would be first. So
for me,
yeah, for you. So
yeah.
Your kick-ass prediction was pretty good. So, but once again, I told this to Swift though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of the 7 people put Coffee as dead last, with the one of them putting them 5th, and then Scotch putting them 4th.
Yeah,
they're
surprised.
Yeah,
they've come together really well as a team. We didn't expect that type of cohesion out of this team.
No, I definitely did not. But I also put them last because we didn't know if Dub Drum would be able to play.
Right.
Like, it was a possibility he wouldn't be able to play, which makes that team way worse.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good point to bring up.
Yeah. So I mean, if we knew he was going to play, I probably would have put him like 4th though. I wouldn't have put him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still would have had him lower. So they'd still have impressed, but definitely not. I don't think I would have put him last.
Mm-hmm.
But someone who I did put high up was Gruden's QB camp. They haven't been too great.
Yeah.
But most potential, I think, as we've discussed, for that team to do better.
They could do better, but they could never do as good as some of the other teams on their best day. Y'all nuts.
Twitch chat, hit us with the question.
Yeah, Twitch chat, we're looking for anyone that's listening and not watching Twitch chat, we're looking for a suggested topic, and we're going to take 1, maybe 2 topics.
What's with all the Swordandmace hate?
We'll start there. 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Yeah, I actually like that discussion.
Swordandmace hate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you guys discuss. He's my team, so he's my teammate, so I'm not going to talk shit about him.
Can I start? Because I think I'm one of the biggest haters.
Go for it, dude. I thought I was the biggest hater.
So I played with Swordandmace last season, and he was a god top lane for the regular season, and he just played out of his mind, and then playoffs happened, and like we kind of just fell apart as a team, and I don't think that was Swordandmace's fault. He just hasn't been performing as he was last season, and he's been like last season it's Swordandmace versus the world is essentially what the lane was like, and he won more times than he should have, and he was a lot better than we were expecting. This season, we had that same mentality, and I feel like it's flipped. He's done poorly or lost, and the lanes just haven't really gone his way, even though he's got like some 1v1 kills throughout the season. Just him in general, last season Swordandmace was a god. This season Swordandmace is human.
Just to go into for last season, because we were on that team, something that I noticed about Sword that it's not that he doesn't do this season, but it was way more hardcore last season. He was trying to improve so hard last season, and it showed. Like he was actually putting in hard work to get better at the game.
And I think
not that he doesn't play this season, but
better.
Last season was. I was very impressed with his work ethic last season to improve.
Yeah, so I don't actually hate on Swordandmace. It's just that the expectation of Swordandmace this season versus last season is I expected better, and he's not necessarily doing badly as a like if you said compared this Swordandmace to how he was expected to perform last season, he's still doing better than he was expected to last season. It's just after his showing last season. Higher expectations.
I'll agree. He's doing like when he went into last season, no one thought he was going to be any good, and he was like solid enough to remain a starter into the future. I'll give him that. The problem is like once Swordandmace became an obvious starter, it was like, well, now we got to judge him to the same standard I judge everyone else. And let me give you guys the list of starting top laners. We got Purple Pickle Pie, he's great. Mad Cow, he's pretty good. Then we have Scotchnaut on the win, Swordandmace, and the Kishot Grand Spiffy combo. Just, to me, the Swordandmace hit is I watch these games and I'm like, he's so bad at laning phase that if he was playing against a team with me top lane, I would single-handedly be able to carry and win the game. And we see that with Purple to an extent. I mean, obviously it didn't happen in their one matchup this season, but like we saw it in the finals of last split. If Mad Cow plays a proper matchup, I imagine we're going to see it again, especially if teams start banning Swain, because I don't think we've ever seen him play a lane champ other than Swain.
He played Nautilus.
Well, Nautilus is not a lane champ. Like, he's fine in lane. He's like, for a tank, he's like the hardest to beat up on tank in the top lane that's like decent, but it's just, I watch top lane, I see so many opportunities to get an advantage against Sword, or so many times where he should get an advantage and he doesn't get it. And I think there's just, he's relied too much on like, oh, I'll be fine going into late game. And eventually that bites him in the ass, like it did in the finals of last season, where, like, I'm sorry, but he was pretty much the entire reason this team went 0-3 in the finals last season. And I don't know how more teams haven't been able to make that happen this split, but like he is really far behind where other people are at in lane, and it works because other than Purple and Mad Cow, the top laners are just shitty in this league. Like, Wind has been really bad, Scotch has not been very good, and Kishot and Spiffy hasn't been great. So,
thought experiment.
Sure.
Dan Fouts. If we went to Dan Fouts' prime in SBL, could he beat Swordandmace this season?
That's not fair. That's his prime.
What do you mean?
Yeah, if Dan Fouts was in his prime, he'd be the third best, but he'd be really far behind Purple and Mad Cow.
Fair.
And he wouldn't be that far ahead of the other ones, but he would be ahead of the other ones.
Yeah, I think you gotta be better than the best Dan in this.
But the thing is, Dan was only good at laning phase and split pushing.
That's true.
He was dumb. Swordandmace is not dumb. Swordandmace is smart. Like, Swordandmace is like,
he smarts.
I'm not gonna say he's smarts, but like he's like a lesser version of On the Winds. Like,
okay.
Well, I don't want to. In terms of like how the execution goes, Swordandmace is like a lesser version of On the Winds, but he's way less dynamic. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I trust On the Wind to be on the wind in way more situations than I trust Swordandmace, where Swordandmace has to be on his handful of champions.
So if you had to rank from the worst to the best top laners, how high up is Swordandmace? In the current top laners.
Okay, so it's Purple at number 1, Mad Cow at number 2, Gap. Then it's some combination of Scotch and Sword for 3 and 4. And then it's On the Wind at 5th, and the Kishot Spiffy combo at 6th.
Okay.
So like that's a big thing. Like that works, is that Swordandmace doesn't have to play against a lot of top laners. They can capitalize on what his issue is. Like, it's really personal to me watching Swordandmace because his weakness is exactly what my strength was. And it just really bothers me watching people that can't do, like, what I did as a top laner. That's probably the root of it. I'm still really happy that he was able to, like, take 3 years off of League of Legends and then come back and be a good starter and make the finals and be on another 5-0 team. Setting up Swordandmace. If Twitch chat, you got one last chance to give us one good topic, or else we're done. I don't think Twitch chat gave us any good.
I have a question. If Twitch chat doesn't, and I'm not really seeing anything come out, is do the standings shuffle in the latter half of the season?
Yes.
Can we drastically so?
Well,
or
they're gonna
aside
shift,
from,
but
is it the middle four switch?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of win trading between those middle four. So, to anyone that hasn't been paying that close of attention, if you look at the standings, we've got a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0 win team. AKA, every team has beaten every team below them in the standings and lost to every team above them.
let's go with this. Let's do top 4. Real quick, just real quick. Don't need to explain. Yeah, who makes playoffs? Since this is like mid-season, we got to see every team play. See what you guys think. I can go first if you want that one.
Sure.
You guys are the casters. So obviously I'm biased. Gonna pick my team. Plus, we're first place already. So I think Kick-Ass is going to jump over Coffee House in this second half of the season, and then it's gonna be Coffee House and Pot of Greed. So not a huge shuffle, but I think Coffee House is gonna drop down a game. Or a position.
All right, could you repeat that? So,
so
seeds 1 through 4.
TSA.
Okay, just go.
Okay. TSA, Kick-Ass, Coffee House, Pot of Greed.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty fair. I mean, that's. But you think Kick-Ass just goes above CH?
I think they will, yeah.
Okay.
So not a huge change, but I think that will.
All right. Destiny, what do you think?
I don't think it changes at all.
Okay.
If anything, absolute worst, first and second switch places. But my gut instinct is the teams don't switch pretty much at all. Like, teams will certainly drop games. Even TSA, I think, will eventually lose a game, but I don't think overall it'll switch standings for first or fourth.
All right, those are my 4. TSA, POG, Kick-Ass, QBC, in that order.
Ooh.
Wait, you think Coffee House is not going to make the playoffs?
I do.
That's retarded, dude. You know how math works? They're 4-1, dude. There's no way they can miss the playoffs.
They really only need like 1 or 2 wins.
All right. Fuck, I just wanted to shake things up with QBC. You know what?
I mean, you could put him fourth. I could maybe see that.
You can do whatever the fuck you want to.
No, you're right. I mean, you're right. Statistically, I think they're gonna. Basically, what I'm saying with that though is they're gonna not do 4-1 in the second half for sure, like without a doubt.
Yeah, I don't think they will either.
They have the 10th best SBL player of all time, Dubdrum, on their team. They're
Shit, did you release that stuff?
Oh yeah, the number 10 and 9 came out today.
Is that on Facebook?
If anyone didn't see it, yeah, number 10, Dubdrum, number 9, to best this one. Go check it out.
Did you write something about him?
I wrote 2,350 words about those guys.
Okay, all right. I assume you did.
I'm proud of it. So if you haven't seen that shit, every Thursday we're doing it over the course of 4 weeks. You're gonna get the 10 best SBL players of all time. But that's enough self-plugging, because I gotta pick who's gonna go to the playoffs. And guys, I'm gonna cop out here, but I think TSA is gonna get the first seed, and then I think Coffee House, Kick-Ass are gonna play a tiebreaker for second, third.
But so wait, who gets it then?
I don't know. They're gonna play a tiebreaker.
His crystal ball doesn't see that far in the future.
Yeah, dude, I can only see to week 10.
Okay.
Because we're going to have a week 11 that I can't see to, because Pot of Greed and Gruden's QB camp are also going to play a tiebreaker for 4th, 5th.
Good thing I got an extra day off for playoffs, just in case. I got 4. In case we have to push it back 1 week.
In QBC, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
One Trick Bronies are WCF 2.0. They don't win a game. No one on that team signs up for another SBL.
Oh, that.
On which squad?
That's not true. One Trick.
No, I was
Bronies.
gonna say, dude, your boy Gabe is done.
My boy Gabe does not tilt off the face of the earth. He comes back for season 10, but everyone else retires. there's no
I think
five-way
Hibbs would
tie.
come back too, but I could see the rest of maybe.
All right. Unless anyone else had a conversation they really wanted to tackle, I think we hit a good mix of stuff tonight. You know, it was just shy of 3 hours on the stream. I'm pretty happy with that. So
Wow, look at that time.
to anyone that tuned in, because we actually had a pretty active viewership for this whole time. So thank you
Yeah,
guys.
lowest was 13, highest was I think 16.
And we'll definitely get a few more people that are going to watch us on pod. So
Right.
If you enjoyed this, cool. Thank you. Shoot us a message. Tell us you're happy we did this. If you thought our opinions are shitty, well, you're stupid. I don't give a fuck what you think. And that's
Do you think
what it
maybe
is,
we
guys.
need to cut it down by like an hour or something? You know?
I mean, we don't do that. Dude, we spent
No,
an
we just
hour,
rant. We
an
just
hour
rant.
and 18 minutes just going over the MVPs and the disappointments.
Yeah.
Going into this is like, this will probably be like an hour and a half stream tops.
Yeah.
We spent almost that on the first two topics.
30, I love it.
All right, I think on that note, we gotta cut the stream.
That was a good cut of the